You are listening to the Magnetic Marketing Marketing Secret Gold Members Only podcast.
So I've got one more presentation I'm gonna do because I know that everyone's coming in here today at different levels, right? Some of you guys are coming in and you're coming on stage to get 2 Comma Club C award and you're killing it. You're doing hundreds of millions of dollars. You're here like, what can I learn from Russell? What do I got? And some of you guys are coming in like brand new and you're like, what's a funnel again? How many of you guys are at that stage right now? Okay, we got all sorts of things. So my first presentation I want to do right now is going to hopefully level the playing field. Okay, for those who are getting started, it's going to give you a really solid foundation. For those who are advanced, you can see how we actually run things behind the scenes to grow and to scale offers very, very quickly. And so that's what we're talking about. So my presentation is called Advanced Funnel Audibles. And I titled this because actually in FHL Orlando 3 years ago, I did, how many of you guys were at Orlando back in the day? Okay, I did a presentation called Funnel Audibles, and it was one of the ones that people liked the most, and I haven't talked about this in a long time, so I wanted to go kind of deeper on that topic and share some cool things with you guys. So first question, one of my friends recently asked me, they said, I've been in your programs for a long time, and I don't know what an audible is. I was like, I probably should have defined that ahead of time. So, what is an audible? An audible is when the quarterback comes up to the line of scrimmage, and he gets to the line, he's like, this is not going to work. The play we just called is not going to work because everyone's in the wrong spots. We're in trouble. And he stops and he starts yelling like, change the play, changes the play really quick. They go and then they throw the ball and it's different. So an audible is like something happens not the way you want it to be. You're going to change everything at the last minute, right? So it happens in funnels all the time. How many of you guys have ever launched a funnel and you're like, I'm going to be a millionaire in the morning. You launch it and then like crickets. And you're like, that Russell Brunson's full of crap, right? Okay. So that's what an audible is. I need to give you guys that ability to move and to flow. In my life, I wasn't a football player, but I was a wrestler. And this is a picture of my dad and I. And I told this story in Orlando as well. But when I was my junior year in high school, I had set a goal I wanted to be a state champ. Like, that was the thing. I wanted to do it. And my very first wrestling match, my junior year in high school, I was wrestling this guy. My junior year in high school. And I remember he had taken second place in state the year before. And I was like, this is going to be my shot. I'm going to prove to everybody that I'm good enough. And, like, I was so prepared for it, right? We came on the mat and we started wrestling, and it was the first match of the entire season, and I lost the match. And I don't know about you guys, but when you've been telling everybody, this is my goal every single day, and they're sick of you hearing it, right? I told everyone, all my friends for the last year, I'm going to be state champ, and I lost that match. Going back to school on Monday, first question everyone asked is like, how'd you do last night? And I'm like, I lost. I'm like, I thought you were going to be a state champ. I'm like, yeah, it's tough enough to beat you right now still, right? Like, so frustrated. And I'm sure some of you guys have felt that as well, right? You've told people you love, like, I'm going to get a 2 Comma Club, I'm going to launch a business, I'm going to do these things, and then, like, it doesn't happen, right? And I feel that. Like, I've failed way more in business than probably all of you guys combined, so I understand that thing. But with me, I had a really lucky opportunity because my dad, as I wrestled that match, my dad actually filmed the entire match. And that night, I got home, and I was just broken, right? I was embarrassed, I was humiliated, and I just wanted to go, like, hide in my room and feel bad for myself. How many of you guys, like, sometimes feeling bad feels good, We like just want to, like, wallow in your own pity for a while. So I went to bed and I, like, wallowed in my own pity. And my dad, who's smarter than me, he took the video and he got set up on TV and started watching, and he watched that match over and over and over again. And I have no idea how many times he watched it. He's here. You have to ask him. But next morning I woke up and I don't think he'd gone to sleep yet. He was all excited. He's like, all right, Russ, I know how to beat this guy. And I was like, Dad, I don't want to, I was doing the whole teenager thing, right? Like, Dad, leave me alone. I don't want to do anything. He's like, come here. And he pulls me on the carpet. He starts wrestling me, showing me what I did wrong and how to fix it. And we start practicing the move that I had lost against this guy. And I remember being so, like, teenagerish, like, just bored and knowing, like, Dad, I don't want to do this. But he worked through me what I did wrong. The next day, or that day at wrestling practice, I got out of wrestling practice. And as soon as practice got done, I was ready to leave. And all of a sudden, I see my dad come through the door. I'm like, oh, no. And he comes down. He's like, hey, let's practice that move again. And we practice it again and again. And every single day after practice, my dad would show up, and we'd practice it over and over and over again for the entire 4 months of the wrestling season. We get to the state tournament. And in the state tournament, I ended up being seeded number 2. He was seeded number 1 on the bracket. And so that meant if we were going to meet again, we'd be in the finals. So I won my match. He won his match all the way down to the finals. In the finals, I'm literally wrestling the guy that I lost to the very first match of the year in the state finals. And so I'm nervous, all those kind of things. And last minute, right before my match starts, my dad's like, let's practice one more time. So we found a little side mat. We practiced again, everything we've been practicing over and over and over again. I step on the mat. And not only did I win the match, I ended up beating him with the same move he had beaten me with because I'd practiced it so many times, I became really good at it. I ended up beating him with the same move he'd beat me with 4 months earlier. And I had a chance to get my hand raised and become the state champ. And it was Still this day, one of the greatest days of my life. But I learned such a powerful lesson from my dad during that time that served me in athletics, it served me in business, it served me in all aspects of my life. A lot of people struggle in business because when something fails, they're like, oh, I'm a failure. Okay, and I probably would have thought that as well, but my dad taught me, like, when you fail, you didn't fail, you got to say, what was wrong? Like, what mistakes did you make? Like, oh, well, your positioning was wrong, your elbows were out. Like, we figured out the things that were wrong, and we made those adjustments, and we tweaked, and then went back and did it again. Okay, when I started getting into business, I had the same thing. I would launch a funnel, it would fail, and I didn't say, oh, I'm a failure, oh, I'm an idiot, my offer's dumb, and like, get all embarrassed. I would launch it and like, oh, crap, I need to change some things. And I'd make the adjustments, make the changes, try again, and within 2 or 3 times, the funnel would work, and it was off to the races. Okay, how many of you guys know that ClickFunnels, I've told this story before, but how many of you guys know that it wasn't the first funnel we used to launch ClickFunnels? The first funnel flopped, and the second funnel flopped, and the third one did, and the fourth one. I could have quit after all those. And I did the fifth one, and guess what? It didn't work either. I was like, I thought I was the funnel guy. I'm an idiot, right? And finally, the 6th time is when we nailed it, when we got the message right, we got things right. And that was 7 years ago. 7 years later, here it is. Now, what would happen if I were stopped after the first one, or the second, or the third, or the fourth, or the fifth? How many of you guys are stopping after the first, or the second, or the third, or the fourth, or the fifth? Okay, that's why it's so important for you guys to put the time and the energy into these things. Okay, the principles I'm going to teach you guys during the session are going to help you to know exactly what to do and how to do it so you can execute correctly. This is one of the legends in our industry. His name is Gary Halbert, and this is a quote. He said it one time. I remember thinking, like, this is the coolest thing ever. He said, properly exploited, one good idea that occurs while walking on the beach is worth more than 10 lifetimes of hard work. I was like, how cool is that? Right? We all have ideas that come and go, but if we can figure out one of those ideas and actually exploit it properly, we do the thing correctly, we get it to work, we get the funnel right, we get it correct, where it starts working, that's worth more than 10 lifetimes of hard work. Now, it's going to be hard up front, right? You got to put forth the effort, all the kind of thing, but after it works, then it becomes easy, okay? And so that's the key. If we can get one of these funnels to work, you guys, as those who have hit it, you know it's worth more than 10 lifetimes of hard work, okay? So a couple of principles to be successful. Number one, we have to make sure as you guys are building funnels, you're not building confusing funnels. This is a funnel of somebody that I know that they were bragging about. It's like, check out how my funnel, all the automations and all the things. I was like, oh, nice. Did the funnel work? Like, it did okay. I'm like, okay, well, like, how are you going to tweak it? They're like, well, I'm not sure yet. I'm going to test something. I'm like, well, which one of those little things? That's like a million things. Okay? I don't know if maybe I'm dumb, maybe I'm not fast. I don't know what it is, but like this, I wouldn't know what to do. Okay? If you look at all the funnels I create, my funnels are simple. It's like, oh, there's 5 pages. And what's nice about that is if something's broken, I can identify it really, really quickly. Okay, I can go and drive some traffic, put some people through the funnel and see if it works or if it doesn't work. Okay, and that's why I focus on simple funnels versus complex funnels. Okay, because again, a complex funnel, if I launch this thing and it doesn't work, it's like, what didn't work? Like, well, it's one of these things probably. I don't know, one of those. Or in mine, I launch it, and I look at the numbers, like what happened on page 1, page 2, page 3. It's like, page 3, that was the one that's broken. I can fix that one thing and then test again. Okay, so we make simple funnels that are easy to test over and over and over again. Okay, hopefully for some of you guys that'll make it easier. In fact, I get people who join my inner circle all the time, like, check out our super funnel, and it's like the most complex thing in the world. And like, now coach me, Russell. And it's like, okay, step number 1. You know that thing you just showed me? We're going to delete it all. And now I can actually help you, because right now I got nothing. Like, I don't care how good you are. Like, I don't know. Okay, so we got to make simple funnels that are easy to tweak and to test and to get working. Okay, I think I got 7 secrets I'm going to share in this process. So secret number 1 you guys have to understand is understanding marketing math. Now, I'm not amazing at marketing, but there's a couple numbers you have to understand how they work. And when you understand them, it becomes really, really easy. Okay? These are the 2 numbers. The first number is called CPA. That does not mean an accountant. In fact, Stacy Martino messaged me like a month ago, and she said, Russell, guess what? I figured out what CPA means, and it's not an accountant. I'm like, congratulations, you're officially a marketer now. I'm so pumped. So CPA, cost per acquisition. This is how much you are spending to get a customer. Okay? We had to pay for every one of you guys to get in this room. You know that, right? I had to pay Zuckerberg, and he sent an ad, and you saw the ad, and you showed up. And so I had to pay something for every single one in here. So that's the cost per acquisition. The second number is average cart value. How much money do you make inside of the cart on average when somebody comes into your funnel? Those are the 2 numbers. Okay? If we understand and match those 2 things, it becomes really easy. So let me go a little deeper on this. So cost per acquisition. How much does it cost you to get a customer? So here's me. I have to give somebody money. So I give Mark Zuckerberg some money. He's like, sweet man, thanks for the money. He then shows my ad on Facebook, and if my ad's good, then I get a customer back in exchange. So I give Zuckerberg money, he gives me a customer. That's the game we're playing, right? That's the cost per acquisition. How much does it cost me to acquire a customer? Now I have that customer. The customer is now going to go through my cart. Okay, he's going to go through my funnel. And so, again, I call this the average cart value. How much money does that customer actually spend inside the funnel? So they clicked on the ad. Here's the funnel. They're going to go through page 1, page 2, and then there's all these things. And they're not going to buy all the stuff. I wish they would. That'd be amazing. But they're going to buy maybe the first thing, and maybe upsell number 1 or 2, and they're going to buy some things. So on average, of all the customers that go through this funnel, how much money on average do I make when they come out the other side, when they come out with the product? Okay? And that's the game. That's how the marketing math works. So if you look at this equation here, CPA, if your cost to acquire a customer is less than your average cart value, so I spend $1 and I make $2, now I have a funnel that can scale. That's it. That's what I'm trying to do. If I can get a funnel where I put $1, I pay $1 in ads, and I make $2 back out, I can scale this thing, and the game becomes really, really fun. How many of us have had that happen with the funnel before in the past? Yes. In our high-end coaching programs, the 2 Comma Club coaching program, that's the whole goal. So if we get one funnel that hits this, 2 Comma Club's easy. The hardest thing is like tweaking and testing until you get to work, and all of a sudden, as soon as it works, I put $1 in ads in, I get $2 back out, sweet. Start dumping money in, money comes back out, and all of a sudden it starts scaling really, really quickly. But this is the game we got to play. Okay, now if I put $1 in and I get $1 back out, it means I didn't lose any money, but I didn't really make any money. This is where I'm like, okay, it's not scaling yet. This is where the funnel audibles come in. Like, what do I need to tweak? What do I need to change? What are the things I need to do to make sure this is going to be successful? Okay? And if I put $2 in and I only get $1 back out, that's the sign that you should stop buying ads. I saw somebody on Facebook the other day that said, I tried to launch a funnel and I lost $80,000. I was like, what? I was like, is that a typo? Like, no, I lost 80 grand. I'm like, 80 grand? Like, yeah, my ads didn't work. I'm like, why didn't you stop? Like, if you put $2 in and you get $1 back out, stop. You're out $2, right? 80,000. He was just waiting. Maybe it'll get better over time. No. You'll find out really, really quickly. That's the nice all these tests. You can test it in like a day or two, and you're like, stop. Okay? Put in $100, a couple $100, and all of a sudden really quickly you know. So don't freak out. This is like these little tests. I'm putting a little money to test it, make some tweaks. Test it, make some tweaks. Okay? So the first funnel audible understand is understanding marketing math. If your cost to acquire a customer is smaller than your cost than your average cart value, now you have a funnel that can scale. That's what we're trying to do. That is the goal of every single funnel. Okay? Secret number 2, finding the control. So the control is the type of funnel that's currently working. I want to find what's currently working. Okay, this is the whole premise of funnel hacking. This is the purpose of funnel hacking. A lot of people think funnel hacking, it's a lot of people who don't do funnel hacking. They go out there and they just like, okay, I'm going to build a funnel. Here's a page and here's another page, and they randomly start putting things up. Okay, we're never guessing. My goal in this is to try to take away all guesswork. Like, what's most likely to be successful, as close as possible. Okay, that's what funnel hacking is all about. Now, I want you guys to understand, if you look at like the direct response industry, like companies like Agora, this is how they work. So what they'll do is they have an offer. They have something they're going to sell, and they'll have 5 different copywriters write a different sales letter for the offer. Okay, and the reason why they're trying to find out whose sales letter, whose copy is going to be the best. Right? And this is how it works. I've got a lot of friends that write for Agora. So they'll have, here's the product, 5 different people write the copy. They send out the ads for all different 5, and they find out which one of these 5 is the one that's going to win. Okay, so they do the test, and all of a sudden this copywriter wins. So if that copywriter is the winner, it means that person is the control. This is the ad that's working the best. They get rid of all the rest of them, and all of the royalties go to that copywriter. Does that make sense? So when they step back and they hire copywriters for a project like this, they'll pay them each like, I don't know, let's say $25,000 to write the sales letter, and if your sales letter wins, if it becomes a control, you'd also get like a 10 or 15% royalty in all sales that happen to that sales letter. So if that one wins, boom, she gets the royalty. Okay? Now the next phase they do is then they take the control. This is the one that's working the best, and then they have all 5 copywriters, and they say, okay, here's the control. Each of you guys rewrite the intro and see if you can beat it. And so each person's got a shot to try to rewrite the intro, and they start sending it out and see if they can beat the last control. And if they can beat the control, then that copywriter gets the money. Is that crazy? Like, I had a friend who had a winning control for Agora for like 8 or 9 years. His control won, and nobody could beat him. And finally, one day, some copywriter tweaked the headline and got the headline to beat his headline, and the royalty shifted to the copywriter who tweaked the headline because he now had the control. But that's how the game is played at the big level, the big, huge direct response marketers. Okay? For us as funnel hackers, our goal is similar, except for instead of paying a whole bunch of money to copywriters to write the control, we're trying to find out what funnel is most likely to succeed for the thing I'm trying to sell. Okay, so a lot of you have heard this story before, but when I was launching NurseCell, my first supplement, the first question wasn't like, okay, how am I going to sell this thing? Like, what am I going to do? Like, what should page 1 be? What should my video be? Like, my first step was like, what is the control? What is the thing that's currently working the best to sell supplements? I got to figure that out. Okay, because there's a control. So I started going out there and looking at every single supplement company, and I started buying their products to see what was happening. Step 1, what did they do? Step 2, I started studying. This is me doing my homework, right? Okay, so step number 1 is find out what's working. And again, if you see my Funnel Hacks presentation, you've seen this, but I went through, this is the Marine D3 offer at the time, went through their offer, and they had a VSL, and then order form with 1, 3, and 4 bottles. They had an upsell selling 6 more bottles of the same thing, and they had their offer number 2 and offer number 3. And so that was the structure. At the time, this funnel was doing, I think, $3 million a month. And so I knew that if I was going to build a supplement, this was the control. This was currently working the best today. So I'm not going to go and reinvent the wheel and guess. I'm going to funnel hack that. So, okay, this is what I need to create, and that becomes the control. Right? I take that control, I doodled out, here's what I need to build. I log into ClickFunnels, and I build out my version of that, right? And that's how funnel hacking works. We find the thing and work the control. So I know you guys have heard me tell that story before, but I want to show you guys a couple of the real-world examples of how we've done that. A good example, this is FiberFix. How many of you guys have ever seen FiberFix before? This is a video that Harmon Brothers did that went really viral. We don't have time to watch it, unfortunately, because it's really funny. But they launched this video. They were driving people to a Shopify store, and it wasn't making very much money. And so they contacted me and said, hey, can you help us build a funnel? Because you keep hearing the funnels are really good. And so we did a swap where they did an ad for us in exchange for us doing a funnel. So as soon as I agreed to this, I signed the contract. I'm like, okay, I'm going to build a funnel for FiberFix. The first thing I said is I have no idea how to build an e-commerce funnel. I don't have an e-commerce brand. Oh, crap. I'm screwed. So what did I do? The first question was who has already done this in the past? Who has an e-commerce brand that's killing it? And the person I knew inside of ClickFunnels at the time was Trey Llewellyn. Trey had this flashlight offer that was blowing up. His numbers were insane. And so I called Trey. I was like, hey, dude, show me your flashlight funnel. And he said, okay. And he started showing me. Here's step 1. Here's step 2. Here's what I do at every single page. Trey had the control. He had a funnel doing millions and millions of dollars a month. He knew what worked. So I didn't have to go guess and reinvent and hope and things. I asked Trey, I said, what is it? And he showed me the entire funnel. I doodled it out. I said, this is the control. This is what Trey's funnel looks like. And I went back to our designers, which was me and Steven Larson at the time, and we built out this funnel, right? So the first step wasn't me trying to figure out, let me figure out how to do this. My first step was, who has the control? Who has already figured out the best funnel to sell a product like this? It was Trey. I called him on the phone. He showed me the thing. I modeled out, and we just modeled it as close as we could. That's funnel hacking. Okay. Recently, we acquired a new supplement company called Zoom and Juice. It's going to be launching really soon from one of my friends. In fact, I'm excited about this for a lot of reasons, but one of them is that when this product first came out 7 or 8 years ago, is when I launched Funnel University, our old print newsletter, and I actually funnel hacked Zoom and Juice's funnel in this issue. And I used to film myself funnel hacking, and in the video, I go to the sales page, I buy the product, I go to the thank you page, and there was no upsell. I was like, what? Why does this person hate money so bad? There's literally nothing else for me to buy. There's no upsells, no downsells, or nothing. I'm like, ah. And eventually this company went out of business, right? And I don't know the whole story behind that, but the company went out of business. And I was like, oh my gosh, but I really want it. I'm going to tell you guys, I'm doing a session tonight after dinner that's going to be, I'm going to go deeper into this because it's going to be a really fun session tonight. But after we bought the company, I was like, okay, I need to build a funnel, but I haven't built a supplement funnel in almost 8 years. I don't know what to do. So step number 1, we started a new project, and so we set up a Trello board. If you look at my Trello boards, there's a column that says to do, in progress, completed. But the very first thing we did is create a column that said funnel hacking. And I went and I found every single supplement that I could find, and guess what I did? I bought them. Every single one. So I bought this supplement, I bought this supplement, I bought this one, I bought this one. And after going through and buying, I think we ended up buying 15, 16 different supplements. My goal was not that I wanted a whole bunch of powders and pills coming to my house, although now we have piles and piles of powders and pills at our house. My goal of doing this was to figure out, what is the control? That's the question I got to figure out. What's the control? What's this thing that's selling supplements today the best? Not 7 years ago, but today, what's the thing that's working the best? So I funnel hacked as many people as we could. After we looked through all of them, we said, okay, based on this, they all have different tweaks and changes. They're all a little bit different, but as a whole, this is the control. We mapped it out, said this is the control, so we have to create, now we know. And then we went in and we filled in the blanks with our offer, which is going live very, very soon. Okay? That's what funnel hacking is all about. Now, you guys are lucky because over the next 4 days, we have a whole bunch of amazing speakers, and they're going to come on stage and show you what? They're going to be showing you their controls. Pedro Rodeo was talking about challenge funnels. He's going to be like, hey guys, I've done 4,000 challenge funnels in the last couple of days. Do you want to see what they look like? This is my control. It's worked over and over and over and over and over and over and over again. If you want to do a challenge funnel, he's going to show you his control. Right? Lauren Golden's going to be talking about webinars. She's going to be like, hey, I've got a webinar funnel that made me multiple 2 comic boards. You guys want to see it? Here's the control. And she's going to show you the exact webinar funnel. Okay, well, you guys are here at Funnel Hacking Live. We're trying to show you guys controls of different types of different funnels, how they work, what they look like, how you can structure them, so you guys can look at that and know how to build your own. But at the same time, we may not show the kind of funnel you're using, but that's what this group is for. That's what this room is for. Networking, talking to other people, finding out like what kind of funnel you have, how does it work, and like learning those things. Okay? The thing we're looking for is we're looking for the control. What is the control that's working today that I can model as I'm building my funnel? Does that make sense? Okay, you're way more likely to be successful if you're working off of control than if you're just working off of your thoughts and your guesses and your hopes. Okay? In fact, Gary Vee's got a message for you guys that kind of drives this one home. This is a 30-second video from Gary that hopefully will help.
If I'm marketing, I'm in business, and if I don't understand the market, if I don't deeply understand the competitive landscape, the supply and demand chain, what I'm going to do, the marketing opportunities, the white space that I love to play in so much, then I'm going to lose. So many of you starting t-shirt companies without doing a hardcore audit of the 50, 100 t-shirt companies in the market, and that's why so many people lose. They confuse enthusiasm or hobby for business skills, and so before you do anything, before you jump into anything, do your damn homework.
Okay, the Russell version of that is do your dang homework, all right? Okay, Funnel Audibles. Number one, did my slides go weird? Oh, there we go. Okay, secret number one, marketing math. Secret number two then is finding the control. Okay, you ready for secret number three? Secret number three is called average cart value. We talked about this, but I want to go deeper into how to increase your average cart value, some of the secrets we use. Okay, this is especially useful over the last few months as Facebook and Apple have been in this big fight, which has caused all of our costs to acquire a customer to go up. Right? How many of you guys have felt that in your business? Super annoying, right? So our job is to figure out how can we drop our average cart value, right? What can we do, or excuse me, how do we increase our cart value? Okay. This is a quote from my very first mentor. How many of you guys know who Dan Kennedy is? Yeah. Dan Kennedy is the legend. Anyway, he's one of my... Yeah, I've been learning from him since the beginning of all my marketing mentors. He's the number one marketing mentor I've had for so long. And of all the things he said, this is one of the most powerful things he said. He said, ultimately, the business that can spend the most money to acquire a customer wins. Okay? That's what this whole average cart value thing is based on, is who can spend the most money to acquire a customer. For example, if you're selling stuff on Amazon, what is your potential average cart value? Right? If I'm selling a book, like best case scenario, if someone goes to Amazon and buys my book, I can make $15.95. That's best case scenario. Okay, so if I want to break even, I can spend $15.95 on ads, and after that, like I'm in the hole, right? I'm losing money. Okay, so with the funnel, the power of a funnel is that we can increase our potential average cart value. So someone comes through here, and let's say they go and there's a $7.95 book, and then there's a $37 upsell, then a $97 upsell, $297. If you take all of those numbers together and you add them together, the potential average cart value is $438.35. Okay, so potentially I could spend up to that. If everyone bought every offer, I could spend that much money to break even, right? Now, obviously, everyone's not going to, but for me to be successful with my average cart, I need to have enough offers in the funnel that I can spend more money. This is kind of like if you want to be, and again, I'm not a baseball player, so I may like fail on this analogy, but if you have one up bat, right, you get up once, you got one shot to swing, and that's all you got, you're probably not going to be that good. Right? With Amazon, I got one shot. Like every single person shows up needs to buy, or else I'm not going to make any money. With this, if my potential average cart value is $438, I can miss a whole bunch, but the upsells and the downsells, all the higher ticket things, makes it so I can spend more money, right? Way more likely to be successful. Okay? So the question then is, in your funnel, like, what is the potential average cart value? If someone's to buy every single thing in your funnel, what is your potential average cart value? You guys should know that number. If you don't, this is the first thing to go back and look at that thing. And then the question is like, okay, now I know that's the best case scenario. What can I do to increase it? Can I get that number higher? If I get that number from $438 to like $700, I got more shots at bat, right? More chances to make more money coming back through. Now, you have to be careful, though, because one thing that a lot of marketers, and I do not agree with this, is they say, okay, well, if I can make $438 potential from these 4 or 5 pages, what if I give them more pages? And they put you through something that we call upsell hell. Anyone ever been in a funnel like this? Where it's like, man, if 2 upsells is good, 42 is even better, right? And they keep taking you through this thing. And in theory, that's like, oh, that's a really good idea, right? Because now my potential average cart value is like $8,000. This is the problem, though. And I didn't realize this. This is a test we did probably a decade ago. We had an upsell flow that It wasn't quite this long, but it was close because I was learning. I made a lot of mistakes in the business. And my first mistake was like, I need to have more offers so I can make more money, so I can spend more money to acquire a customer, which logically makes sense until you see the data. So what happened is we ended up, some of our friends owned a software that did like ratings and reviews. So on the thank you page at the end of our funnel, the thing would pop up and say, hey, how was your experience today? And people would like fill it out. And I remember we were in the middle of a product launch, and we put it down, and people were going through. And after like 2 or 3 days of the product launch, he's like, hey, look at the testimonials, and you can use the testimonials on your sales page. I'm like, cool. So we went and we looked at the testimonials, the people who had gone through the gauntlet of like 1,000 offers. And what I found out is my brand new customers hated me. They were so angry, right? And so while you may make more money by having this in the short term, you make way much money in the long term. Right? If the very first offer you guys came through in my world, I had 42 upsells, you'd probably be in this room right now. Okay? But eventually you did, right? And so there's this fine line of like too much stuff where you make more money up front but less money over time, right? And so the secret to understand is if you can have more offers in less space, that's how you can increase your potential average cart value. Okay? More offers in less space. So I'm going to show you some ways you can slip offers into your funnel that doesn't add more pages. Okay, but it increases your cart value dramatically. Okay, the secret, as I was thinking about this, trying to explain to somebody, it's kind of like airlines, right? If you look at airline, like here's this plane, we're all going to the same spot, right? But everyone's coming here. But there's a percentage of the people who jump on this plane who are not going to fly in the back. They're only going to do first class. Even though we're going to the exact same spot, we have like an extra inch of legroom, but we're going to pay twice as much money to sit in front of the plane instead of the back, right? Okay, you think about this, in every single business, there's a group of people who will send up to the next level, to the higher thing. Happens on airplanes, it happens in your business. So what most of us do in our funnels is we only offer coach seats, right? So because of that, you only get coach offers. But if you increase and you add what we call first-class offers to a funnel, a percentage of people will always take it, right? 20% of the plane is going to pay twice as much for a little bit more legroom. Okay, 20% of your audience who hit your funnel are going to give you more money if you just offer it to them. Okay, so a couple things we noticed. Oh, actually, I have an important note. When you're doing these first-class offer upsells, you don't talk about them in your pitch. If you're doing a webinar or a VSL or something, you don't talk about, like, you can buy it for this price or for this price. You don't talk about the multiple different things. You only talk about the best offer. That's it. Okay? The order form will have different offers. So, like, for example, when I was doing my Funnel Hacks webinar, they could buy for $19.97 or $29.97. So on the webinar, I never once mentioned the $29.97. I only talk about the $19.97. I talk about the best offer over and over and over again. When they come to the sales page, they see both options. And this form, for example, I think it's like 18% of the people pay the extra $1,000. Okay? Now, in my webinar, if I'm talking about both prices, it's going to get confusing and it'll hurt the sell. But I just offered on the order form and it happens. Here's another example of order form we did that. Right? The left-hand side, we just had the $1,000 offer. The right-hand side, we just added a little block that said, or you can buy the $2,000 offer. And boom, sure enough, 20, 25% of people took the second offer, increased how much money we made in the funnel. Okay? Again, we did this with 2. We also did it with 3, where we had a $2,000 offer, $3,000, and basically a $6,000 offer. And guess what? Like 1 out of 10 people took the $6,000 offer. My numbers get way better really, really fast. My average cart value dramatically goes up when you get 1 person out of 10 or 1 out of 20 or 1 out of 30 who buy the higher ticket thing. Plus, as a decoy, more people bought the middle thing when we added the 5, 9, and 7 as well, which is kind of cool. Okay? You can also add first-class upgrade offers inside of your upsell flow. This is something that Trey showed me inside of his e-commerce funnels. Okay, on this page, you notice someone just bought FiberFix on the prior page. Now this is upsell number 1, and I'm telling them, hey, you can add a starter kit. Right? The headline says, hey, add 1 more starter kit, and this is the deal. But then I have 2 options. Okay, where they can get 1 or they can get 2. Okay, and the same thing on upsell number 2. Instead of, I talk about the one thing they can buy, but then I give them 2 different options. You see this a lot in supplement funnels as well. You come to the sales funnel, and it's like, hey, I'm buying 1 product, but then you get the order form. It's like, you can buy 1, you can buy 3, you can buy 5, and you have different options. So people who would upgrade on a plane are the same people who are going to upgrade in your funnel as well, and then go and grab those ones as well. Another good example in FiberFix, we did this. Initially, when we work with FiberFix, you can only buy like one FiberFix. So what Trey showed us is like, hey, on the order form, give them a bunch of options. So someone can get the pack that had 3, or they can get 6, or they can get 9, or they can get 12, or 15, or 30. And what's crazy is that before we added this in here, every single person coming to the funnel only bought the 1 kit. When we started adding this, it was like 60% of the people started buying 3. We tripled how much money we're making just by having more options. Okay, and every once in a while, someone came through and bought 30, which increases how much we can spend on ads, right? Sliding these little things inside your funnel. Order form bumps is where this whole principle came from. We were having a whole upsell page just for a product. We said, what if we took the upsell page and what if we slid it on the order form? So if someone puts their credit card in, but before they click the submit button, there's a little spot right there that says, hey, do you want to add this to your order? They click the button, right? And you guys are all aware of order form bumps. We've been talking about it now for 7 years. But that's what an order form bump is. Between the credit card and the submit button is that spot right there where someone can add that to their offer. Recently, we started doing instead of doing one order form bump, what if we added 2? And it's crazy. We had a $37 order form bump and a $97 order form bump. And before we're getting I think it was 30% of people were taking this one right here. And now we got 30% of people take both of them, which is crazy. Increase how much we can spend for every single person coming through our funnel. That makes sense? I know I'm rapid firing, but I just want to show you guys tons of different ways you guys can start looking at this differently. On our upsell page, right? We had an upsell page. We sold the box set, but underneath it, we started adding order form bumps on our actual upsell page. And guess what? Huge percent of people also took the order form bumps on the upsell page as well. Also, on our supplement offer, we always had a one-click upsell for a supplement. And one thing we're testing right now is one-click upsell, but then having 3 different pricing points as well. So it's just giving the premium buyers the ability to buy premium at every single step of the page by sliding these offers in. Another really cool thing you can do to increase the offers in your funnel without increasing the number of pages is instead of having a yes page and a no thanks page and things like that, we do no thanks pop-ups. So this button right here, they say no thanks. Instead of actually going to no thanks page, it pops up a thing and has a payment plan right there inside the page. Okay, it seems smaller in the customer's journey because they're not going to a whole other page. It's just real quick, are you sure? Because we can give you a discount. I'm oh, sure. Okay, and the last set of things I'll show you are thank you page. Offers on the offer wall. We had a chance to work with Rachel Hollis on this funnel for her, and she was selling her journals, but then she sells jewelry as well. So on the thank you page, we put a bunch of her jewelry, and literally in ClickFunnels, you can make those one-click upsells. So you click on the button, and boom, it adds it to your order. Click the next one, and boom, it adds it to your order, and just add that to the thank you page. This is Trey's page where he did that as well. He had thank you page offers on the thank you page as an offer wall. And then one last idea is actually doing a webinar on your thank you page as well. This is something that was kind of cool. We've done this in a lot of our book funnels where someone comes in and they're buying a book on how to be an expert. They get to the thank you page, and I know that I'm trying to sell them a $2,000 offer through my webinar. So I put the entire webinar there. It says, literally the thing that they signed up for. So how to launch your expert business next 30 days for under $2,000. And they make a presentation where then we sell them the $2,000 thing that they need to be successful. Okay? And so these are all these little things we do to increase the average cart value. Okay? Again, I showed you guys earlier, if I'm selling one off, best case scenario, I make $15.95. I come over here through a funnel. That's the question, is how much can I make? What can my potential average cart value be? The higher that is, the more money you'll be able to spend on advertising as you're going through the process. Does that help? Okay, all right. Whew, these are fun. All right, number one, again, is marketing math. Make sure your CPA is smaller than your average cart value. You can start scaling. Number 2 is finding and control. Number 3 then is figuring out ways to increase the average cart value. The higher that gets, the more money you can spend in ads. Secret number 4 now, cost per acquisition. How do we get the cost per acquisition lower? Okay. So again, I want to get to the point where I'm spending $1 in ads and making 2, or spending $1 and making 10, whatever that is. However I can do that. So the first question is ads. How many of you guys love making ads inside your business? That's a small group. I got a secret for you. Making ads is the key to making money. Just so you know. You build the funnel once, then you build ads for the rest of the time. Okay? That's kind of the big secret. In fact, Dean's not speaking this year's event, but Dean and I were having a race trying to see who could sell more of our books. And at first we were doing pretty similar, back to back, neck to neck. And then something happened, and he started selling way more books than us. And it's funny because we got on a consult call to kind of help each other coach through what we're doing. And our funnels looked very similar. He funnel hacked me identically. So I was like, I don't know how else to fix this because you literally copied my funnel. But I was like, but how are you selling more books than me? And he literally was selling 4 times more books than we were. And at first we couldn't figure it out. This doesn't make any sense. And so we eventually flew down to his office to try to dig deeper and try to figure out how we can help each other. Flew to his office. And after 2 or 3 hours of digging through all the metrics and numbers, we realized that the difference between our campaigns and Dean's campaigns is that Dean was creating way more ads than us. And I was like, how many ads are you creating? He's like, a couple a day. I was like, a couple a day? I'm like, I do once or twice every couple months, maybe. He said, no, we do a couple. I do a lot of them. And he told me this story that was interesting. If you know Dean, he used to do infomercials for 20 years before he started doing the whole internet marketing stuff. And he said when he would do an infomercial with like Larry King or whoever's infomercial was, they would record the infomercial, they'd put it on TV, and the infomercial would last about 18 months. After 18 months, so many people saw it that it stopped working, and he'd have to go back in the studio and refilm a new one. So it said every 18 months for 20 years, he'd go film a new infomercial, and it would work again, right? He said the interesting thing, he said with Facebook and with Instagram and TikTok and YouTube and all different things like that, he said that the ads don't last 18 months. He's like, they last closer to like 18 days. And so if you're only creating a new ad every couple months, you're in trouble, right? It's ad creative. And so we got back to that trip, we started making ad after ad after ad after ad after ad, and we started catching up to be able to sell as many books as Dean did. So a lot of creative, okay? So the next question is like, well, what kind of creative? Like, what ad should I make? I don't even know how to make ads, Russell. There's a million different options. Like, how do I do it? So I'm going to show you something really cool that we learned over the last year that's been really cool. Okay, there's 7 different proven ad types that work awesome. And I actually learned this from Chamber Media. We started doing a whole bunch of ads with them. Some of you guys may have seen some of them. Some of them, I was the actor, and they're kind of embarrassing. Other ones were really awesome. But I was hanging out a lot with Travis, who was the owner of Chamber Media, and he developed a software he calls the Brain. And he said that the Brain, they started using the software, and said they went from 50% of the ads they made for the clients working to over 80% by understanding what ads work the best. And they literally went, scraped Facebook, scraped Instagram, scraped all these things, and looked at tens of thousands of different ads and found that all the ads that were working consistently over time all fit into one of 7 different categories. And these were the 7 categories that they found. And I asked him, like, can I share that at Funnel Hacking Live? He's like, yes, you can. And so I'm pumped that he let me share this. But these are the 7 ad types. I'm going to go through each of them. Because when you understand these, it's kind of cool. Because right now, when I need to make ads, we rotate through these. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to do a spokesperson ad. Number 2, I'm going to do a product demo. Number 3, I'm going to do a social proof. Then I'm going to do a closer ad. I kind of just rotate through these things. I'm trying to figure out what kind of ad should I make. Right? Most of us are like, I don't know what kind of ad to make. Let me just get my phone out and make an ad real quick, right? This gave us a process like, hey, let's keep testing these things and move throughout. Okay, so an example, this is a spokesperson ad. Some of you guys have seen with the Harmon Brothers, we did a lot of these. We hired an expensive spokesperson. They did it. Sometimes I was the spokesperson. And the high production ones are amazing, but they're also really, really expensive. You can also do ones that are really simple. So this is an example of one we did. We wrote a script. We hired an actress for $400. She read the script. We put some video overlays and $400. This ad was out the door, and this one actually is beating a lot of the ones we spent literally hundreds of thousands of dollars on. So I'll show you guys this first like 10 seconds so you get an idea of how it works.
Stop. Entrepreneurs and small business owners, I'm about to show you a weird, almost backwards, funnel secret that is currently being used by an underground group of entrepreneurs to sell almost anything online. It's a web class where you will discover how over 987 business owners, just like you, have created their own 2 Comma Club sales funnel using ClickFunnels, and how you can launch your first or next online sales funnel in less than 10 minutes.
All right, I'll keep going. But that was an example of a spokesperson, right? Very simple, very easy to do. And again, you could be the spokesperson. You can hire a spokesperson. It's really cool. Number 2, product demo. And there's a lot of ways. Everyone's product's different. This is how we've demoed a book, right? As simple as like just flipping through the pages or taking the Kindle ebook version and just scrolling through. Both these ads have done really, really well for us, but we're demoing the product. For my business, it's difficult. How do you can demo software, obviously, but I was like, how do you demo a book? I wanted to demo a book in a really cool way. So one of the things we did with Chamber that was really fun is this video right here. And I'm not going to have the audio play, but I want you to see the video because I was like, how do we demo a sales funnel? We're geeking out back and forth and said, what if we demo it like actually showing a funnel and you get Coke and you put a Mentos in it and try to spray the Coke and see how much falls in the bottle without a funnel and then do it a second time with an actual funnel. And so we made this video, which was really dorky and fun. We rented an Airbnb and we had to like put plastic all over the ceilings and the floors because of this. And like, it's really hard to get Coke in the top of a little bottle. Just like it's hard to get customers to buy your product unless you have something awesome, which we like to call a sales funnel. Oh! So we took the sales funnel. It was such a mess. Like we were cleaning Coke up it was everywhere. And then we spray like this and check it out. Oh, in a funnel, you can catch way more of the Coke inside of the actual thing. And so we demoed a concept that was in a book that sells .com secrets and sells funnels. Okay? So for you, like, how can you demo your product? Sometimes it's really easy. Sometimes you have to be really creative when you're selling a book and you're trying to do a product demo on a book. Okay? So product demo is number 2. Number 3, social proof. right? You get testimonials, people who had success with you. This is an example of social
ClickFunnels
proof.
is a software that enables you to build out full sales funnels.
Funnels is basically a step-by-step thing to get a person from A to B.
You get to use it for anything you can think of.
Regardless of social proof, right? Getting other people who have success with your product, filming it, testimonials, things like that. Closer ads, these are typically used most for like retargeting ads. So this one, we were in an arcade. I had my book. I was like, get a phone out quick. We're going to record a closing ad real quick. And so this is for somebody who came to the .com secret site, didn't buy the book and left. They would see this ad following them for the next week or so. All right, I'm really confused. Miss Pac-Man? You came to my site to get the book. You're all excited about it. Then you left, and now you're playing Miss Pac-Man? For crying out loud, like this is the money you'd spend on Miss Pac-Man. You can literally get a copy of this book shipped to you for free. It's less than $10, cover the shipping and handling, and then you'll make enough money. You can play Pac-Man, you can play Cubert, you can play whatever you want, but you need to get this copy of the book right now. Okay, so really simple to do, right? Grab our phone. Where are you at? I was at the arcade. Let's just film it really quick right here, right? Super fast ads you can create that way as well. So number 4, closer ads. Ads that are pushing someone over the edge to close them on the sale. Number 5, case studies. Okay, showing your product actually being used. So this is Doodly. I'll talk more about this later this week. But this is Doodly.
Found a new software
and it's someone using it, actually using a case study, them using the actual software. Okay, we can do the same thing with ClickFunnels. Like here's somebody actually using a case study of how they use ClickFunnels on the site they end up building, what the funnel actually looked like. Okay, same thing for you. How can you build case studies? Lifestyle business. Now, most people in the lifestyle things in my industry are like them in a Ferrari or them in a airplane or whatever. I like lifestyle videos that are more simple. This is Eric Thane and his wife, and this is an example of an ad. Is them opening a 2 comic book box, but it's kind of showing them and their lifestyle inside of their home.
Okay, we're recording. It's Eric Thane. We are opening the infamous 2 Comic Club Award. We got it right here. This is exciting. I've been thinking about this for a long time. Ooh. Woo! Okay, there it is. Oh, they got the right name. The 2 Comic Club Award. Wow.
Oh, that's so cool.
2019. There it is. Exciting.
Thanks.
Stop. Anyway, I love seeing you guys unboxing videos. Please keep sending those as they come in. Like, they're my favorite to watch. Okay, but lifestyle. So how can you show lifestyle in an ad? And again, it can be anything from like, here's how I live because of the product or service I have. Here's how my customers live because of the product or service they have.
Okay.
All those things kind of work. Unboxing. This was a harder one in my industry because most of our stuff is digital. So I'm like, how do we do an unboxing funnel? And so this is how we do one of ours. One of our free plus shipping products. Get your product and literally ship it to yourself and then record yourself going in and opening it. We do that a lot. Okay. I want to recommend you guys start going out and seeing ads on Facebook or YouTube. Like, start looking at those things, start categorizing them in different categories. This is another interesting thing from Chamber Media, from the Brain, is they found these are the average time lengths of the videos that are the most successful, which is kind of encouraging because most of them are 25 seconds, 30 seconds. These aren't long form ads. The ones that are most successful, they're short form, they're fast. And so again, I recommend look at those 7 categories. Next time you're on Facebook or whatever, start looking like, oh, that's lifestyle ad. Oh, that's a case study. And as you start doing that and categorizing things, it'll give you ideas about how you can do that in your business as well. Okay? I see all you guys taking pictures of slides. I love it. Okay. So that's the next one. So again, secret number 1 is marketing math. CPA, lowering the average cart value. Number 2 is finding the control. Number 3 is increasing the average cart value. And then number 4 is decreasing your cost per acquisition. More ads, good ads, quality ads is going to decrease your cost per acquisition. As your funnel, as your average cart value goes up and your costs go down, this is when you get more and more successful and more likely to be able to scale your things. All right, secret number 5, and no one ever talks about this one very much. It's called earnings per click. Earnings per click is something that's shown very heavily on the ClickFunnels dashboard, right? You guys have seen it before. This is earnings per click. How many of you guys have seen that before? And you're like, I don't really know how to diagnose this. I get all the time people in a circle that message me, they're like, hey, my average cart value is $191, Russell. It's cool, but I'm not making very much money. How come? I said, oh, because your EPCs are low. Like, what does that mean? I said, EPC is like the gateway into your funnel. So let's say your average cart value, let's say you have a potential average cart value of $1,000, right? And one person buys and they buy everything. Your average cart value shows $1,000. You're like, man, this funnel's killing it. But my EPC is 13 cents. Why is that? It's because nobody's making it through your landing page. EPC is showing you the landing page number, and it's showing you if that's a brick wall or if it's a gate that people can come through. Okay, this is the telltale number. When I'm doing consulting, my funnel's not working. I look at EPC, I'm like, oh, your landing page is a brick wall. That's why. The lower the EPC, the bigger the brick wall. The higher the EPC, the more that shifts from a brick wall to a funnel and a gate. Okay, and so if you're again, you have cost per acquisition there, average cart value. Those two numbers we're going back and forth with, and then the EPC is the last math number in there. Your earnings per click, how much you make per click, and if it's not high enough, it means that you've got a brick wall. It's keeping people from coming into your funnel. Okay? And so low EPC, like I said, it's landing page brick wall. I'm looking at how do we increase it. So I got to test and tweak this landing page. Now, most of the split testing we do happens on the landing page. Okay? We talked about testing and split testing and tweaking things. Most of our testing happens here. This is where the majority of it happens because this is the key. Like getting people through that front door, or if they're slamming into a brick wall is the most important thing. Okay? And again, if we get one that's good where EPC is like $11, now we can scale this thing like crazy. Okay? So here's the test we do. Okay? There's not a ton of tests. We're not testing every element, every sentence, everything. There's a couple tests we're doing. The first test is we're testing radically different landing page styles. Okay? Before doing any kind of headline test or anything, the first one is radically different page styles. For example, it's a test that we're rolling out right now. We've got the current .com Seekers book funnel, which beat our old radical one. This is the control currently. Now we're testing against one that looks like Amazon. Right? People know how to buy from Amazon. What if this Amazon page out-converts? Now, the test isn't live yet, so I don't know the result yet, but this is the next test, is radically different page designs. Okay? This is where you get big, huge shifts in conversion, not just like little onesie-twosies. If you're doing completely different radical page designs, that's the first test. Okay? So typically when we launch a new funnel, we're going to do like two different versions. Maybe it's like a white one with a white background and a dark one. Or maybe it's one with a two-step order form versus one that's just normal. And we do two radically different pages to see which one is the best, and that's the first test. Okay? After you figure that out, you pick the winner, and that becomes the new control. Right? Now we have the new control. Our next thing is, what's the next test to try to beat this control? Okay? Our next test, we start shifting and focusing on headlines. This is the next most important thing to test. Let's take the headline block, and I set up 2 or 3 different tests to try different headlines to see which headline is going to win. Okay, run a bunch of headline tests, so one of them wins, then that becomes the new control. Okay? After that, the next thing we're going to test, if it's still not converting, if it still has low EPCs, is we're going to test radically different offers. So one test we've been working with right now is like, come get a free book or come get a free book and a t-shirt. The offer's different, right? Maybe the t-shirt with the book is going to be a higher offer versus something else. So it's looking at what is the actual offer you're selling. That's the next test we do. Test number 3, if it's still not working, is actually shifting the entire offer. And then test number 4 is changing the lead. The lead is like the first 20 seconds of the video, the first above the fold of the page. It's like all the beginning stuff. And if you want to learn about this, Great Leads is an insanely good book that nobody ever talks about, all about like the lead of your sales message. It's really cool. We gave it to all the 2 Common Club X members last year, so most of you guys, a lot of you guys have it, but if you don't, try to get it. It's not like in print half the time, like it's kind of a weird thing, but if you can get that book, it's just a lot of really cool things to help you to understand how do you tweak the message, the very first 20, 30 seconds of the message to get higher conversions. So those are the 4 tests we do to try to increase our EPC to get more people coming into the funnel. Okay? All right, a couple more. Next is, I got EPC there. All right, number 6 is after we've got all these things in place, now we need to let the market vote with their credit cards. I said let the marketing vote. Let the market vote with their credit cards. Okay? This is where too often we get into our own heads like, oh, I think people are going to buy this. I think people are going to buy this. When people ask me like, will you look at my funnel and let me know if I should test anything? I'm like, the first question I ask is, have you tested it yet? Have you driven any traffic? They're like, no, but I want your opinion first. Like, I don't want to give you my opinion first because I might mess this whole thing up. I have no idea if it's going to work or not work. The only people's opinion that matters is your customers. Will they pull their credit card out of their wallet and vote with their credit card? Okay, so it's not my opinion, not anybody else's. Like, you've got to let the market test. You got to let the market vote if it's going to work or not. So we take our control. We take the thing we create, the best possible thing we have, right? We go and create the pages, put the offers, put all the things in the best possible thing we can, right? And then what I like to do is I like to take, people always ask me, well, how much money should I test? I like to take what the potential average cart value is, and that's what I test initially. Okay, so if I have a webinar that's selling a $1,000 product, I'm going to test $1,000 on my first test to go through the webinar funnel. If I get one person to buy and I break even, it's like, sweet, this is awesome. Okay, if this is a book funnel and someone goes through, if they were to buy everything, and let's say my average potential cart value is $300, I would invest $300 in ads to see if the funnel is going to work. And I'm going to put $300 in and see at the end of it, did I make $300? If not, then I'm going to go back and start tweaking things. Okay, so I invest with the potential average cart value, however much money I would make, that's what I invest in ads. I let it run, and I see what happens. Okay, I buy the ads, I step back, and I just wait. Let's see what happens. And then I'm just looking at the data. Okay, now again, this is really easy when you have simple funnels, but if you got super complex funnels, it gets really confusing. But this is a simple funnel, right? It's like there's not very many options. Number one is the ad. Okay, I look at the ad like, did it do well, did it not do well? Okay, if the CPA is lower than the average cart value, then that one's good. Cool, I don't need to worry the ad. If it's the opposite, where the CPA is low, then I'm going to like, okay, I need a different ad. Let me try different ad creative. Let me make new ads. Let me try different things. Try to get that to work, right? Then it goes to the landing page. Okay, I'm looking, what is the percent conversion? This one I wrote up is 41%. Okay, that means the EPC is probably going to be pretty high. It means it's doing well. Okay, and then after that's the average cart value. How much money they spend in average from every single step inside the funnel. Okay, so I kind of lay that out and I look at the numbers. Okay, we got 41%, 7, 20, 14, and I'm looking at those numbers. Now, when I consult people, I have them drive traffic through the funnel, and then they come back and say, show me the numbers. I want to see numbers on the ad, the landing page, every single page inside the funnel. I look at those numbers, and now we can diagnose things. Right? These are actually numbers of a really good funnel, but let's say page number 1 was 41%, but the order form was 1%. Okay? I know like something's broken. Page number 2 is the thing that's broken. We got to fix that thing. So then the next question is like, well, how do we fix it? I don't even know how to fix it. Okay? The way we always fix all the problems in every single page in this funnel comes back to something we talked about 2 funnel hacking labs ago, which is hook, story, offer. It's always either the hook, the story, or the offer. One of those things is 3 things is the thing that's broken every single time, 100%. Okay, I'm going to ruin the surprise, but if you were to hire me for consulting, right, for a $100,000 consult day, and you wanted me to look at your funnel, all I would do is I'd say, show me the numbers, like on this screen. Oh, let me go back. I'd say, show me the numbers. You'd write those numbers. I'd look at them, and I'm like, okay, 41% is awesome. 17's good. Upsell 1, you're at 1%. I'm like, something's wrong on that page. And I'm like, what do you think it is? Like, I don't really know. I'm like, well, it's either the hook, the story, or the offer. Which one do you think it is? And you'd be like, oh, the hook's good, but man, the story's not very good, huh? Oh, the offer kind of sucks. I'm like, you're probably right. We should change the offer. And we change that, we tweak that, and then we go back and we do another test, right? And that's literally the game. So if you guys want to understand how it works, it's taking a funnel, driving your average cart value, looking where the numbers kind of fall, coming back and saying, okay, what's broken, what's not broken? If it's broken, it's always one of these 3 things. Either the hook's broken, the story's broken, or the offer. You figure that out, you fix it, and you're good to go. Okay? That's kind of how the game's played. So, letting the market vote. So again, this is the steps so far. Number 1 is make sure the cost to acquire customers is less than the average cart value. Number 2 is you find the control. Number 3, the average cart value. Number 4 is cost per acquisition. Number 5, earning per click. Number 6, letting the market vote. And there's one more. And the last one here is funnel stacking. Okay, this is how you get true market domination. Again, we come back to Dan Kennedy. Dan Kennedy said, ultimately, the business that can spend the most money to acquire a customer wins. Okay? Most of you guys, if you've had a business that's just focusing on just one funnel, right? You got one funnel, that's where everything's happening. As the ad costs and things have changed over the last 3 or 4 months and costs have gone up, it's going to be harder and harder to win. Okay, I've seen people who are good entrepreneurs who are struggling now because they're making all their money in one funnel, and now that funnel's not as profitable as it used to be because of the ad costs and everything's shifting, right? And so we start looking at funnel stacking. Funnel stacking is saying, okay, well, I have a funnel that I'm selling this first product, but maybe it's a break-even funnel. Maybe I only break even. Maybe I even lose a little bit of money selling my first product, but then I acquire a customer, and then I take them to the next funnel, which is I sell the next product in my value ladder, and then the next product and the next product. Those of you guys who have a true value ladder and you're doing funnel stacking where you move some from funnel number 1 to funnel 2 to funnel 3 and beyond, that's how you can outspend everybody else in the marketplace. That is the key. Okay? So that's what funnel stacking is. Now I know that I covered a lot of stuff in a very short period of time, but I wanted to kind of dump this on you guys at the very beginning because I know so many people, as you come into this game, it's like there's so many steps, there's so many things, like what do I do, what do I not do? And for me, this is how we play a game. It's very simple. Okay? Step number 1, we got to make sure that the cost to get a customer is less than the cost is less than our average cart value. That's the first thing we got to figure out. Okay? So then how do I do that? The first thing I do is I got to find the control. I don't want to guess. So I figure out what's the funnel that's working today. I got to find that control. Okay, this is the control. This is the one in the e-commerce market or the coaching market. Or this is the challenge funnel or the webinar funnel or the one that's working the best today. This is the control. This is my best shot of success is to model this as close as I possibly can. We take that control. We look at it and say, okay, now how can we increase the average cart value? As I'm building this funnel, how do I increase the average cart value? How can I tweak my offers? What things can I put in there? Can I do an order form bump? Can I do 2 order form bumps? Right? Can I do a thank you page webinar? What are all the things I can do to increase the potential average cart value? Right? Now I got to create ads. I need to create a bunch of ads to decrease my cost per acquisition. The more ads I create, the better it's going to be. So how can I create ads? How do I make more ads? Who do I hire to make ads? Whatever that's going to be to lower the cost per acquisition. Right? And then after I start doing testing, I'm looking at my earnings per click. Like if it's not good, it means that first page, that landing page is a brick wall. I got to fix that. Let me test this. Let me test that 2 or 3 times. And as soon as you get that, then you drive a bunch of traffic. You let the marketplace tell you what's working. right? And what's going to happen is one of three things. Either number one, you're losing money. It's like, this is not a good idea. I got to change everything. Or number two, you'd be a break even. It's like, okay, what tweaks, what changes can I make? Or number three, you're putting $1 in and getting $2 back out, and now we have a funnel we can scale. Now we can start moving very, very quickly, and it becomes really, really fun. Okay? And number three, obviously, or number 7 then is funnel stacking. It's like, now we got a funnel that's working. How do we stack the next funnel and next funnel and keep moving forward? And that is how funnel audible will work, you guys. So I hope that was super helpful. Cool. My biggest key for you guys specifically is over the next few days as we are doing Funnel Hacking Live, is the speakers are speaking. Look at the funnel they're showing. Look at what the control is, right? The control for a challenge funnel, a webinar funnel, a high-ticket funnel, an e-commerce funnel. We got people doing huge numbers in every market you can dream of. And I promise you, someone doing what you're trying to do in your market. So watch what they're doing, study what they're doing, look at the controls. How are they structuring their offers? Figure those things out, and then model them for your business. That's how you're going to be successful as well.
You've been listening to one of our Gold Members Only podcasts. Make sure you upgrade and become a Diamond member and get access to the Diamond Members Only podcast as well. On top of that, you'll also get access to the whole enchilada with all Dan's courses and so much more. So make sure you upgrade to Diamond now by going to diamondupgrade.com. You are listening to the Magnetic Marketing Secret Gold Members Only podcast.
Funnel Hacking Live, are you ready for me to bring them to the stage? Well, if you are, stand up, get on your feet, and welcome to the stage, Russell Brunson! Thank you guys so much for being here. I'm so excited. How are you guys all feeling? I cannot believe it has been a year since we had a chance to all hang out together like this. It's actually been less than a year, but we are back, and the next 4 days is going to be insane. We have some amazing things planned for you guys, and I'm not going to lie, I'm a little bit slightly jealous right now of most of you guys here in this room. How many people in the room right now are my returning funnel hackers who've been to Funnel Hacking Live at least once in the past, any of the years in the past? How many of you guys are our returners? How many of you guys, this is your very first time ever to Funnel Hacking Live? It's crazy. I was talking to our team yesterday as we're getting everything prepared. I said, it's interesting, like, for half of the audience, this is like a family reunion. We're coming back to be together, to celebrate the wins, talk about the losses, figure out the new game plan to move forward. And the other half, it's like a brand new thing. It's like the first day of school. It's your first time coming to something. And I know some of you guys are nervous, some of you guys are afraid, some of you guys are excited. There's all the different feelings that happen. And as I was thinking about this, I was thinking about the very first event that I ever went to about 15 years ago. And I remember going to that event and not knowing what to expect, not knowing what was about to happen, and sitting there in the audience and listening to different speakers talk. And I remember the thrill and the excitement. It was like somebody would say something, and I was like, oh my gosh, like, that's amazing. I would take that piece and I would add it to my what I was doing, and I hear somebody else say something, I'd take that piece. And it felt almost like I had a treasure map, and I was going through this thing, and I was finding little pieces of gold here and there. And every single moment was so exciting and so new, and just every idea, like, it was amazing. And honestly, especially for our first timers, but for everyone here, I'm honestly super jealous. Like, I remember going through that and feeling that and getting the excitement and the joy from every little thing that was happening. And so I'm excited for you guys to have a chance to do that, especially our new people. I'm excited for you guys to go through a bunch of stuff. We've been killing ourselves behind the scenes for the last 6 months preparing for this. There's so many people that go into creating an event like this. There's no other event like this anywhere in the world, especially our industry. And we'll talk more throughout the event about all the amazing people that have come together to put this together. But I want to thank all of them really quick. So let's give everyone a round of applause that's been working here, killing themselves for this event. We gave everybody who came today, either last night or today when you guys registered, we gave you guys all a t-shirt. And the quote on the front of the t-shirt, it says, entrepreneur by birth, and funnel hacker by choice. And this is something, it was interesting. I was actually at a wrestling tournament with my kids, and I was watching my kids, and I was coaching, and I saw somebody had a shirt on that said athlete by birth and wrestler by choice. I remember seeing that, and I was like, oh my gosh, like, that called to me. And I started thinking about it in this context, and I said, all the people that come to Funnel Hacking Live, they're entrepreneurs, right? You guys were all born that way. And I'm curious, for each of you, like, when was it in your life that you were sitting there and you realized that you were a little bit different? I mean, the laughs tell me I'm in the right room. Good. Do you remember, like, the first time you're sitting there and you're like, I think I'm different. I think differently than all the people sitting around me in the classroom. You guys remember that moment? I remember sitting in class in elementary school. I'd be sitting there and the teacher would be talking, and I was like, I don't understand what they're saying. I look outside, I see the kids on the playground, and I was like, I just want to go out there and create and do stuff. I'd be fidgety in my seat, and it was hard to pay attention, and I struggled. I struggled through school, as a lot of entrepreneurs do. And I remember all through junior high, all through high school, and even through college, thinking I was dumb. If people ever ask me, like, hey, what are you studying? I'm like, oh, I just study wrestling. Like, I don't care about school. And the reason why I always had that response is because I always thought I was dumb. I just assumed that I was because I couldn't understand what the teachers were saying. I couldn't memorize the things they were telling me and regurgitate them, and I struggled on tests, and all those things were really hard for me. And it wasn't until towards the end of my college when I started learning about this world, about entrepreneurship, about what was possible. And it was like the most exciting thing in the world to me. I'm sure it's the same way for a lot of you guys, especially some of you guys who are newer, who are just kind of like starting to learn about business and starting to feel that excitement and that joy. And I remember sitting there listening to some people that I met who were starting businesses, and I hear them talk about it. And every single minute it was like Christmas, and it was so exciting. And I remember that as I would start learning things, because even up to college, I didn't think I was a reader. I didn't really like reading, but I think it was because most of the books I read weren't interesting to me. But I still remember the very first time I read a book. It was a business book, and I learned a principle. I was like, that's interesting. I took that principle and I applied it to my business, and I saw my business grow. And I was like, oh my gosh, like that is the most exciting thing in the world. I learned something, I applied it, and I made more money. And I was like, I want to learn something else. I read another book, and I'm like, there's 3 cool things. Let me try that. I tried this, this, and this. I tried it, and my business grew, and I was like, this is the most exciting thing in the world. This is like a treasure hunt every single day, and I got into reading and studying and learning and going to events because I was looking for every one of these little gold nuggets I could get that I could apply to what I was doing to help what I was doing grow. And that's when I realized I wasn't dumb. I was not interested in the same things other people were. I was interested by growth, by business. It was the most exciting thing in the world for me. I think for a lot of you guys, if you're here in this room, you're probably the same way. Am I right? Okay? You guys were born as entrepreneurs, but you're here today because of a choice you made. Okay? A lot of people hear the entrepreneurial call, the call to contribution, as Alex Sharfin calls it. We hear the call to contribution. We know that we want to do something, we want to create something, we want to give, we want to serve, right? But a lot of people don't listen to that. They ignore it, and they forget about it. But the fact that you guys are here in this room means you heard the call, and then you made a choice. You said, look, I'm going to do something about it. I'm going to start a business. I'm going to take this idea. I'm going to take this thing. I'm going to create it. I'm going to do something different. And so while you're an entrepreneur by birth, you are a funnel hacker by choice. That's why you guys are here with us today. We've got almost 5,000 funnel hackers in this room, which is insane. So excited to be here with you guys. So the question then is like, well, what in the world is a funnel hacker? We've got funnel hackers from all around the world. These are some of the kids in Kenya we build schools with. We bought them all funnel hacker t-shirts last time we came out. We got funnel hackers everywhere. So what is a funnel hacker? Okay, outside of like this world, people don't know what that means, right? So I want to kind of define what it means to me, and hopefully what it means to you as well. We recently made a new manifesto, and I'm going to kind of go through this. This is the Funnel Hacker Manifesto. I believe it's on the back of your guys' programs as well. So I'm going to kind of break this down piece by piece. So the first thing here is that a funnel hacker is a new breed of entrepreneur. They're smarter, leaner, faster, and free. What's interesting about this community that's different than any other event you come to is in this bit, like, everyone is coming here with their own businesses, right? We don't put people into business. This is not a business opportunity. What this is you guys all have businesses. We got businesses from every range of the spectrum. People that have, there's dentists, there's chiropractors, there's people that are LASIK surgeons, there's people that sell courses, there's people that do coaching, people that do live events, there's every kind of business you can dream of, physical products, people doing franchises. Like, it is insane how many businesses come into this world. The ClickFunnels is not something that creates businesses. That's not what we do. What we do is we are a tool and a training platform to help your business go faster. Okay, that's what we do. And so as a funnel hacker, when you come into this world, you understand our goal, our mission is to help you take whatever it is you've already got. That's your business, your job, and our job is to help you to amplify it, to make it go faster. Okay, that's the mission we have. That's what we stress about all the time. How do we do that? How do we make it so the entrepreneurs can move faster and faster and faster? And so as I was going through this, like, well, funnel hacker is a new breed of entrepreneur. Like, what does that actually mean? I started thinking about it. The funnel hackers, the people that are in this room, they're not people that are like, oh yeah, I've got a business. Right? How many of you guys understand that you don't just have a business, but you are insanely passionate about your business? Thanks for that. The thing that makes you different than a typical entrepreneur, a typical business owner, is that you are obsessed with your thing. Every one of you guys have your own thing, right? You have your own business, whatever it is you do, and you're obsessed with it. You want to be the best in the world at it. Okay? The dentist or the chiropractor or the small business owner who's not obsessed is not here. They're at home doing the thing. Okay? You guys are here because you are obsessed with it. You want to do more. Okay? You're obsessed with your thing. You look at your thing as your art. Okay? And some of you guys went to school for your art. Some of you guys have learned it on your own, but it's your art. How many of you guys feel like what you do, your business is your art? Yes. I feel the same way. Our business is our art. This is our creation. This is what we're doing. This is what we're giving such a huge percentage of our life to. If we don't believe in it that much, then we're in trouble. So the first thing is that funnel hackers are obsessed with their thing. And the second thing, and this is what really differentiates you guys, is that you are also not only obsessed with your thing, you're more obsessed with the marketing of your thing. Okay? You understand that no matter how amazing your art is, if nobody sees it, then what good is it? It hasn't helped anybody, hasn't changed anybody's life. It's because of that you come here to learn how to market your art. Okay, I can't make you guys better at what you do, but I can make you better at getting the word out about what you do. Okay, and that's what's different. That's what we do here. Okay, that's the first step. Number 2, a funnel hacker believes that their business is a calling. How many of you guys feel like your business is a calling? Okay, a funnel hacker believes that their products, their services, and the messages they share have the ability to change the lives of the people that they've been called to serve. I want to tell you guys a personal story about a business owner, an entrepreneur, somebody who believed this. This is a picture of my beautiful wife, Colette. Let's give Colette a huge round of applause. There she is. I don't know how, but I convinced her to marry me, which was the most amazing thing that ever happened in my life. This is my wife, Colette, who I'm grateful that she is here. And this is one of my favorite things for Like Life. She comes every year, and it's just like, it's fun to see her in this environment. So make sure you guys all get selfies with her. She hates it, and it'll be awesome. I'm just messing. So after Clint and I got married, this summer we're celebrating our 18-year anniversary, which is amazing. Thank you. Can you imagine being married to me? It would be a nightmare. Like, I don't know how she's done it. But a couple years after we got married, we decided that we wanted to start a family. And we were so excited about starting a family, and went through the process. And after about... Yeah! I'm so sorry. Where are we? Okay. Oh, man. We tried to get pregnant, and unfortunately, we weren't able to. And we tried for a year and a half, and it started at a point where we were really, really scared. Like, what in the world are we going to do? Like, your whole life talk about, like, growing up, finding your wife, getting married, having kids. Like, that's the plan. That's the process. And we found out we weren't able to have kids. We started freaking out. Like, what are we going to do then? What's the purpose? Why are we even here? And it's a scary thing. I know that a lot of you guys have gone through this process. Some of you guys are probably in it right now, and you feel the pain of it. And I don't make light of that at all. I remember what it felt like. I remember the pain that we were going through as a couple, especially as all the people that we knew around us, we loved, were having kids. And it was just like we were so excited for them on one hand, and on the other hand, it like broke our heart every single time. And we didn't know what to do, and we were trying all the things, and we were reading the books and reading the online articles and all the things, trying to figure out what to do, and nothing was working. And then I remember I was driving to the office one day, or maybe I was at the office, and Colette called me. She's like, guess who's on Oprah right now? And I'm like, I have no idea. She's like, there's this fertility doctor who's on Oprah right now talking about how they help people get pregnant. I'm like, oh, it's awesome. Like, how does it work? And he said, no, you don't understand. It's the doctor who lives in Boise, Idaho. I was like, what? Like, that's where we live, right? And she's like, the doctor's in Boise, Idaho. I'm like, are you serious? Like, call him right now. Like, let's go. Let's do this thing. Let's figure it out. So she hangs up the phone. She calls the doctor. 2 days later, we're in the doctor. We're sitting down in the office and talking face-to-face to the doctor. And we start saying, okay, well, how does this work? And they gave us some shots and some pills and some things. And month number 1, went through the process, tried to get pregnant, and you go back for the test, and nothing happened. We're like, oh. It's okay. Sometimes it takes a couple months. Let's come back next month and try again. Come back the next month to go through the process. We try again. Nothing happens. Then we start getting discouraged, like, oh, do we really want to do this again? This is expensive. You put all your energy and your excitement into this thing, and then when it doesn't happen, it's hard. We decided to try one more time. Went back the third time, went through the process. I remember it was during my senior year. I was at the Pac-10 wrestling tournaments, and Colette had to give herself shots in the stomach every single day. And it was just like this scary thing. I went through the process. That month, a month comes the end. We go in to do a test. We go back home. And it also happened to be the same day it was my graduation. And we had my parents were driving up from Salt Lake. Colette's parents were driving up from Burley, Idaho, waiting for them to show up. And about 5 minutes before they show up, the phone rings. I pick it up, and it was the assistant to the doctor, and she said, hey, just want to let you guys know, you're pregnant. And we're like, oh. And I look at Colette, I'm like, we're pregnant. And she's like, no, there's no way. And we start crying, we're bawling our eyes out, and all of a sudden both sets of parents pull up in the driveway at the exact same time. And she looks at me, she's like, you can't tell anybody. I'm like, what? Got tears streaming down our faces. We're trying to like act all cool, and they all come in, they give themselves hugs, we're talking, we're looking at them, and we're just like both crying. They're looking at us like, what is going on? And then I look at Colette, she looks back at me, she's like, okay, you can tell them. I was like, we're pregnant! And we start freaking out. And it was amazing. A couple weeks later, we went in to get the ultrasound. I pulled out a magazine, I'm waiting for them to start, and all of a sudden I heard the doctor say, there's 2 of them in here. And I said, well, you started? I look up, and on the screen we see this. I was like, what? 2 kids? We have no kids. That's a lot of kids. Man. And that's where it all started 14 years ago. The twins, this is Down and Bowen. Down's baby A, Bowen's baby B. They were born 14 years ago, and now, 14 years later, this is what our amazing, cute little family looks like. And I share that story with you guys because for this doctor, what they did was not that big a deal. They went to school, they learned the thing, here's the drugs, here's the process, here's how it works. But that doctor, that entrepreneur, that person believed so much what they did, they went out there and tried to get the message out about their art. Do you think it was easy to get on Oprah? No, I tried for like 6 years before she canceled her show. It is not easy to get on Oprah, okay? Whatever that doctor did, they did something. They went out there, he said, I believe my art so much, I believe it can change people's lives so much, I'm going to do whatever it takes to get on Oprah. And because that doctor put forth the sacrifice and learned how to market their art, they got on Oprah, glad I had a chance to see it, and my life was changed forever. Every good thing in my life happened because there's an entrepreneur who took a risk, who did something that didn't make a lot of sense, to put themselves out there to change everything for somebody else. Okay, the thing that makes us entrepreneurs weird, while the majority of the world is trying to like get rid of responsibility, entrepreneurs look at something and say, that is a problem. That's my problem. It's not my responsibility, but I'm going to take it, I'm going to figure out a way to solve this problem. That's what makes entrepreneurs different. So I want you guys to understand that right now you may be here at different points in your business. Some of you guys are at a high spot and you're in growth mode, you're having fun. Some of you guys are in the beginner mode and you're struggling. Some of you guys are in between. I want you to understand, when you really look at it and say, look, my business is a calling. I've been called from someone higher, something higher. It's called me to do this. I'm here, placed on this earth to serve other people. When you look at it through that lens, everything else becomes easier. Okay, when you look at like, I'm trying to figure out how to make more money for myself, business becomes harder. When you look at it from this lens, life becomes so much easier. There's no way I would have 5,000 people in Nashville, Tennessee in January here if I was trying to make a bunch of money on this. Okay, I believe my message so much. That's why we keep talking about it over and over and over and over and over again. That's why we're consistent with it. And that's why you guys are here today. Okay, number 3, a funnel hacker is in control of their destiny. They start without a safety net. Venture capital is a 4-letter word, and bootstrapped is their middle name. Funnel hackers, they define their own destiny, they create their own luck, they build their own empires, and they change the world. As we have, I've told you guys the story a lot of times, as we've been growing ClickFunnels and looking at, what the next phase, next step is, people always come to us like, how in the world did you grow ClickFunnels without any money? It makes no logical sense. I say, well, it's the principles we teach all the funnel hackers. Okay, we use funnels, we practice what we preach, we drink our own Kool-Aid. Okay, we build funnels that grow our companies profitably. Okay, and that's the power, and gives you guys so much freedom that you don't even understand. And so that is our manifesto. Again, on the back of it, ends with, I'm a funnel hacker, and I'm just one funnel away. I got one more thing I want to talk about before we kind of transition. And this is something that we're going to be pushing a lot over the next 12 months. Inside of this entrepreneurial world, I think that the message that so many people have been hearing over and over again is wrong. The message of we need to hustle, hustle, hustle. The message of all these different things that are coming out there. I don't think that's the message of entrepreneurship, not true entrepreneurship. The message of true entrepreneurship is this. It's how do we over-deliver? And this isn't just in your business. This is in all aspects of your life. Okay? It's interesting. I did a podcast about this a little while ago, and I talked about how somebody had asked me to do something. I was like, oh, yeah, I can do that for you. Sure, I'll try that. And I stopped for a second. I was like, what kind of response is that? If my boss came and was like, hey, can you do this? Like, oh, sure, I'll try it out. Like, that's not the right response. I want somebody to come to me, and if I say, hey, can you do this for me? To say, you know what? Not only do I think I can do that, I know I can deliver on. Actually, not only can I deliver on that, I'm going to over-deliver on that. Okay? And this is the thing I want us all to think about in all aspects of our life, okay? In our relationships with our family. Like you showing up and you're like, oh, I'm doing the thing, I'm doing the motions. Or you coming and saying, how in this situation with my wife, with my kids, with my spouse, with my whatever it is for you, how do I over-deliver in this situation? How do you over-deliver in your business relationships? How do you over-deliver in your businesses? Okay, as you guys start thinking about that over and over and over again, it's going to change everything for you. How many of you guys, when you got here to Nashville and you saw the little mini city we built here and you saw the swag you got and the shirts and the bags and all this stuff, you're like, oh my gosh, ClickFunnels over-delivered. How do you guys felt that as you came here today? Okay. Our goal is to do that in every single interaction. Okay, we talked about it with our staff, like every interaction with someone. It's not like I'm going to do the thing, I'm going to deliver, I'll get it done. It's like, no. I don't want people to get things done. I don't want people to deliver on things. I want everybody to over-deliver. And this is our message for the next year is how do we over-deliver in all situations. So you guys okay if we over-deliver this week for you? You guys okay with that? All right. Okay. So that's what I mean when I say that you're an entrepreneur by birth, but because you are here, you guys are funnel hackers by choice. That's what it means to be a funnel hacker. Now, I'm going to kind of walk through really quick my role in this whole thing. I obviously don't know how to code. I didn't build ClickFunnels. I always tell people I'm the dancing monkey on stage. It gets people excited about it. But I want to talk about my journey really quick because I feel like my calling, again, I don't have the skill sets that any of you guys have in your businesses. All of you guys have the ability to change people's lives in ways that I can't. I wish I could, but I can't. So my calling has been, for some weird reason, that I became obsessed with this, the marketing of businesses. Like, I don't know why that became exciting to me, but it did. And it's been my calling for the last 15 years. But it started back here. This is a picture of me when I was going to college here, and my mom made me throw away all my junk mail. But I used to collect junk mail in junior high and high school, and I would read every single sales letters that would come in and be like, oh my gosh, this is the most exciting thing in the world. And it started there. That's where the excitement started when I was like 12 years old. After that, when I got into college, I started my very first entrepreneurial venture. It wasn't the thing that changed the world, even though I thought it was going to be, but it was me and Nate Plone building potato guns at the school on the weekends. We would sneak into to the classrooms, set up a camera, and film ourselves in front of the whiteboard, building my very first product, how to make a potato gun. And this is where I started my entrepreneur journey. Okay, some of you guys right now on your journey, you're starting in weird spots. You're like, is this really my calling? That wasn't my calling, but guess what it was? It was a step forward. Okay, and then I did the next step forward, and we kept moving forward. A little while later, I got done with college, and then after making my potato gun funnel, which was my first real funnel, I became obsessed with it. For some reason, I couldn't stop. I couldn't sleep. It just kept coming, and over the next 10 years of my life, we built over 150 funnels. Can anybody here beat me of how many funnels they built? And I'm not saying like I built it in ClickFunnels and it sat there dormant. This is 150 product launches of funnels that I created. It's like one a month for 10 years, for a decade of my life. I was obsessed with it. All I could think about was like, how do we do this? How do we do this? What can we create? What's the next offer? How do we put it? How do we put it together? Okay, and I became obsessed with the science of this game. It became so much fun for me. I don't know why. It's still this day, like before you guys all ran in here, how many of you guys saw me when I poked my head out the door earlier? I poked my head out, everyone started screaming. I was like, oh my gosh. And Colette's like, can you believe this is your life? I'm like, I can't believe that we're talking about funnels for crying out loud. I remember sitting in my room and nobody was excited at all about this. I remember going to marketing events and everyone's sitting there in a shirt and a tie and they're sitting there taking notes. And I'm like sitting in the back freaking out like, why is nobody screaming? Like, you know what? This is the most exciting thing I've ever heard about in my entire life. I was like, my calling is to get this, our world to understand how fun this is. This is the most exciting thing I've ever seen before. And so after building over 150 funnels, I said, I want to write a book. I'm going to be one of those guys. And I sat down, and it took me almost a decade to write this very first book, which is .com Secrets. How many of you guys read the first version of .com Secrets? I had the amazing opportunity in December of this, so a month ago, to rewrite .com Secrets from the ground up, which was like a really cool experience. I'm excited for you guys to get it. When we launched the Traffic Secrets book, the new version of Expert and .com Secrets are coming out at the same time, all hardbound. But I'm excited for you guys to see the new updates. But this book was a decade of my life of testing a million different funnel ideas. And from all these theories and all these tests and all these hypotheses, it's like, here are the things that we know work, and they work in any business. You just have to figure out how to apply them to what you're doing. Okay, so we did that. After I started writing this book, the next idea was like, we need something to make this simpler. Okay, we had teams of people building all these funnels. And so in 2005, I made the very first attempt at building ClickFunnels. Back then, we called it click.com, because that I thought was a really good name. That would have been really confusing, though, right? It's click, D-O-T-C-O-M, then .com. Everyone was like, I don't get it. Is it click.com, and then, how does that, anyway? Luckily, we got another name. 2005, we tried to build it. This was the very first version of it. The design was beautiful. We spent over $1 million trying to build it, probably 2.5 years, and it never saw the light of day. And I was like, this thing's not going to work. And it was in the middle of me growing another company, and all the money I was making was going here trying to build this thing. So I'm like, if someone had this tool, a tool to make these funnels easy, it would change all businesses. Okay, the reason why there's only a handful of underground marketers doing funnels is because it's hard. I was like, if we can create something simple, like we could take this to the masses, we could help change all businesses. And so we tried in 2005 and it didn't work. About that time, the business I was trying to grow that was supporting this collapsed. I had to lay off over 80 people in a day, which is never a fun thing, including some friends and family members. And it was a painful process. We had to move from a 20,000 square foot building down to a 2,000 square foot building as we tried to figure out how to rebuild our company from the ground up. About that time, I remember I was trying to figure out, like, what's the next move, what's the next step, and I was on Flippa.com. How many of you guys have ever been to Flippa.com? It was a website that sells websites. So I was like, okay, maybe my future's here. I'm looking through all these sites, and all of a sudden there was this site that popped up. It was called Champion Sound. And it was a marketing automation software for bands. It would do text messages and emails and all these things for bands. And I saw it, and I was like, oh my gosh, this is amazing. This could be the future. And they were selling it for $20,000. Again, this is the bottom of a business crash. I just lost everything. I was in the hole a lot. I owed the IRS money. It was a whole bunch of things. And it's like, I don't have $20,000, but I think this is the future. So I started scrambling together, put together a bunch of stuff, made a quick $20,000, and went and bought the site. And my thought was like, hey, I'm going to take this marketing automation platform for bands, and I'm going to make a version for chiropractors, and then for dentists, and then for and just kind of keep taking this to a whole bunch of different markets. That was the vision back then. And after we bought the site, I called the person up who owned it, and I was trying to get it transferred over to my servers. And I said, here's the login to our servers, like, move it over. And he's like, oh, I can't move it to your servers. I'm like, why not? He said, well, this is coded in Ruby on Rails. Your server's PHP or Linux or whatever, the thing. And I was like, what does that mean? And he's like, it means that it's written in a different language. I'm like, differently? He's like, yeah, you speak English? This is like Chinese. It's not going to work. I'm like, what do I do? He's like, I don't know. You need to go buy a Ruby server or whatever. And I was like, okay, so I bought a Ruby server. He transferred over. He's like, hey, well, good luck, and kind of walked away. I was like, what do I do now? And so I went to my existing programmers. I'm like, can you guys fix this? And they're like, it's a different language. I have no idea what to do. I'm like, are you kidding me? So I tried to hire 2 or 3 people. I couldn't get anyone to do it. And I realized one night I was sitting at my desk looking at this. I was like, I spent the last money we didn't have on this stupid website. I thought it was the right thing. I felt good about it, and now I can't even code it. It had all sorts of problems. There were people using it who were texting me angry because the software wasn't even working. I was like, I don't know what to do. So the last thought I had before I left the office that day, I said, I'm just going to shut it down, and it'll be done. So I shut down my computer. I emailed someone. I said, okay, just take it offline. I can't afford the server fees anymore. I got up, and I was walking out of the office that day, put my backpack on. I had this distinct impression. I said, go back, and there's somebody on your email list who knows PHP or who knows Ruby. And I had a little customer email list at the time, and I was like, that's weird, but very specific. All right, so I took my backpack off, went back into my computer, sent an email. I said, I'm looking, the subject line was like, if you know Ruby on Rails, I'm looking for a partner. And basically, email said, I bought the site, it doesn't work. I tried a whole bunch of programmers, nobody could do it. I don't know what to do with it. And if you know Ruby, message me back. And then I shut my computer down, and I went back home. About an hour later, I checked my email, and there's an email from this guy. And he said, hey, man, I know Ruby on Rails, and I bought one of your things like 5 years ago, and it's just kind of crazy. I saw your email, and like, yeah. He's like, I have a business already working, but I'm just kind of doing the 4-hour work week lifestyle. I'll check it out and see if I can fix it. So I'm like, all right, I have nothing to lose. I send him the logins. I'm like, good luck. Let me know how it goes. Next morning, I wake up, and I get a message from him. He's like, it's done. I'm like, what's done? He's like, I fixed all the problems. Oh, and while I was in there, I noticed this and this. And like, if you wanted to, we could add this, and we could shake this, and all these things. I was like, who is this guy? This is amazing. And so he started working on it, and I was like, okay, this is cool. And we started working on it, and he's like, you know what? Instead of doing this, we should just build a whole new one from scratch. I'm like, but I just spent all of our money on the thing. He's like, oh, it'd be easier just to make a new one. I'm like, no, we can't do that. But we kind of hit off a friendship, and we started doing some projects together, and he would come out. He lives in Atlanta, and about once or twice a year, he'd fly out to Boise, and we'd brainstorm ideas, and he'd create different things. And I had no way to pay him at the time. I had no money. And so I was like, okay, well, you work on these projects. I'm like, if we ever make any money with this, we'll just split it. And he's like, okay. So we work on some projects, and some made some money, most of them didn't. And we did this for a couple of years. And a couple of years into it, during that time, we launched a whole bunch of companies. Some of you guys heard this story. We launched a supplement company. We launched a whole bunch of information product companies, a whole bunch of things. And they were all having moderate success. And all of them had funnels. And the one big thing is he kept saying is just like, man, we keep rebuilding the same funnel over and over and over again. He's like, what if we just built something that made this easy? I was like, dude, I tried in 2005. I spent like $2 million I didn't have. It didn't work. We tried with Champion Sound. It didn't work. Like, this isn't something that's going to work. And he said, no, I think I can do it. So we flew out to Boise. We sat down in front of a whiteboard for a week, and we mapped out our dream. What if we did this and this? And we kind of mapped out the whole thing. And he went back. Actually, I was driving him back to the airport. As I was driving to the airport to drop him off, he said, hey, just one real quick thing on this. He said, if we're going to do this project together, he's like, I just don't want to be an employee. I want to be your partner. And I was like, oh, man, I've always been the person that's in control. Like, I don't know if I want to do that. And I was scared and I was nervous. And luckily, that day I said yes. I said, all right, let's do it. And he went home and he built the original version of ClickFunnels. That man who has become one of my closest friends in the whole world, the best business partner that anybody could ever ask for, and one of the coolest, most humble human beings on this earth is Todd Dickerson. Todd's here. Everyone, let's put our hands together for Mr. Todd Dickerson!
Who's excited to be here? Who's ready for the next 4 days of amazing content from this man right here?
I'm excited. You guys, we're so lucky to have Todd here today, and I'm going to have him go through some of the cool stuff. But this whole journey, it began a little before this, with Todd in a basement working. I assume it was a basement. Maybe it wasn't.
Yeah, it was the basement. Yeah, it was the basement.
Todd in the basement working on this. I was telling our staff yesterday as we were preparing for this. It's crazy. Like, while we were building ClickFunnels, I'm in Mountain Time Zone. He's East Coast. And so I would work from all night until like 2 or 3 o'clock in the morning, and Todd would be sleeping. All of a sudden at 2 o'clock in the morning, my time is like 5 a.m., Todd pop up like, hey, good morning, man. And we'd share notes for a minute, and then he'd go back to work. I'd pass out, and we'd switch. And we were literally working 24-hour shifts around the clock as we built this. And then on September 23rd, 2014 is the day that ClickFunnels first went live.
Finally launched.
Very cool. Yeah. Do you guys want to see some of the original logos? So as we were first doing it, these were the first original logo designs that came back, because I don't know about you, but I can't start a business without a logo. So I was like, well, if we're going to do this, we need a logo.
Absolutely. It's not real until it has a logo.
Yeah.
That's one of our rules.
So these were the logos, and we picked one of the variations from this. And then we sat down and we started mapping this thing out. This is a picture of Todd and then also Dylan Jones, who were one of the original co-founders, in our little tiny office, mapping out the first version of ClickFunnels. Do you remember those days?
Yes, absolutely. It was a blast.
It was so much fun. And then after we coded it, we kept trying to sell it. And you guys have heard me tell the story before. Like, we kept trying to sell over and over again and kind of struggled. And it wasn't until this event right here. It was a little event with, I don't even know, 100, 200 people in the room.
Yeah, it was about 100 people.
100 people. And it was the first time we had a chance to present it from stage like this. And we told the ClickFunnels story. And we launched it, and we had a huge table rush, and that's when ClickFunnels kind of took off. And that was
this man sold 48% of the room.
Right, this is going to be the thing. And so that's kind of the beginning, how it all began. And I'm going to have Todd kind of go through a State of the Union of some of the things of where we've come now in the last 5.5 years. It's been a crazy, insane ride. And you want to kind of go through some of the...
Yeah, absolutely. So Russell brings me out every year to kind of give a State of the Union update and let you guys know, basically shine a spotlight on you and show what you guys have accomplished over the past year. And just start out by looking at some of the members that we've had in this environment, in this community over the past few years. Year one, we had 10,000 members, and we had 600 people at this event. We were looking at it today. There's more of you in early access than we had at our entire first Funnel Hacking Live. It's crazy. Year two, we doubled. Year three, we jumped to 50,000. 60,000 in year four, 76,000 members last year, and then finally this year,
drum roll,
past the magic number, 100,000 members. Oh, that means 95,000 other customers who are not in this room right now. But of course, you guys are the best since you're here today. So this is also amazing. We're vision for ClickFunnels here. Basically, you guys have now processed over $4.2 billion that we can track across our platform. That doesn't count phone sales and things offline, but $4.2 billion have gone through ClickFunnels, and almost $2 billion since last year. Give yourselves a hand. Like, it's amazing to see what you guys have done.
That's amazing.
Oh, on top of that, 2 Comma Club winners. There are now 789 of you.
Woo!
2 Comma Club winners. Crazy. 288 in the past 12 months. Oh my God.
All of our 2 Comma Club winners, stand up really quick.
Stand up.
Everyone who's won 2 Comma Club.
Woo!
Anyone stand?
Wow.
It's amazing. These are your peers, you guys. They're sitting around you right now. It's insane. I love it.
So awesome. On top of that, 2 Comma Club X winners. 56 of you have got the 2 Comma Club X award now at this point. This is just absolutely blows my mind. We have, in just the past year, 18 new 2 Comma Club X members. Craziness. Now, this one, what is this, Russell? This just got slipped in the slides here. So
I'm so excited. Okay, so 2 Comma Club, you guys know, is 2 commas and $1 million. So that's 2 Comma Club. 2 Comma Club X, the X is a Roman numeral for 10 million. And this year we have a whole handful of people who are racing towards the 2 Comma Club C. C is the Roman numeral for 100. So this is our new $100 million award that we will be unveiling in 2 days from now. And we do have people in this room who have achieved this award and will be getting it on stage, which is insane.
Crazy.
I never dreamed this was even possible. You guys are growing like crazy, so we'll be sharing that.
It's insane.
Todd hasn't seen the award yet, but it's as big as he is.
Excited.
I'm excited for those who have to carry it home.
Oh, man. So our team serving you has grown exponentially since last year alone. We're up to 341 amazing people serving you on a daily basis. We have 154 customer support members now all over the world in all different time zones, so we can man the clock around. 75 people now on the product development team. This has doubled almost since last year. So we have 75 people working on ClickFunnels and all the supporting tools and software around that to make sure everything runs smooth for you. And we have 28 people on business development now. We have 47 people on Russell's marketing team. Crazy, right?
We really like to build funnels a lot.
Yeah, they build a lot of funnels. 18 people in operations and 19 people in coaching and events. And that's the amazing group that put on this event for you today. So I'm going to give them a hand also. So who else wants to see what else happened in the past 12 months? Yeah.
We got a new year in review video for you guys.
All right, let's kick it off.
You know, it becomes really easy to look back over the last year and to think that I've done enough. The wins, the losses, the risks, and the lessons.
Hey everybody, I'm Russell Brunson. I just want to tell you about something really, really exciting. And no, I'm not going out of business. That was kind of the hook we got you to come to the video. But in a way, we kind of are.
As a young entrepreneur, my focus has always been on the future. Here's where we could be, what we could do, what we could accomplish.
President and founder of .comsecrets.com.
But then came this point where my focus started shifting from looking forward to actually looking back.
Software that builds entire sales funnels very, very quickly.
And it felt like most of my story had already been written. And that there's less time now for change, less room to be able to actually grow. And that maybe I should consider slowing down.
As your friend, you love what you do. You light up when you do. I love being around you. When you all get immense ClickFunnels. It's like, wow, it's like, that's a beautiful thing. You know, I mean, there's more options than just selling the business that you should consider, in my opinion, just for your own fulfillment and because you have so much to give. And you're like, how old are you now?
39.
You're not even 40. You haven't even begun your journey. It's beautiful what you've accomplished. No, I mean it. That's not a derogatory. It just means, holy I'm 60. I mean, you think about the next 20 years, what you can do from where you are now.
Okay. Maybe I was wrong.
In 2019, ClickFunnels hit some massive milestones. $4.2 billion processed, 3.1 million funnels, 32 office sushi parties, and get this, 100,000 users.
Can I hear people screaming out here? And we just passed. Wait, really?
That's 100,000 people.
Holy cow.
Our annual event, Funnel Hacking Live, grew bigger and better than ever. In Nashville, we had over 4,300 attendees, 626 2 Comma Club winners, 42 2 Comma Club X winners, gave away over 130 dream cars, and at this year's event, Lindsey Sterling did a huge performance and officially turned Funnel Hacking Live into a rock concert. We celebrated ClickFunnels' 5-year birthday with a huge announcement, including a big change in direction, which left some people wondering, oh, who animated these things? And while it was ClickFunnels' birthday, we decided to give you a gift. We announced ClickFunnels Platinum, and we joined the streaming wars with Funnel Flakes. We've been licensing and creating the top entrepreneurial courses in the world and giving them back to the community. This year, we've also made a bunch of huge updates to the software as well. In fact, now you can take the PCI and with the GDPR, and you plug them in, it helps increase the conversion. Oh, hold on a second. How did you know?
Do you need some help, man?
Oh, yes, thank you. What do you feed that baby? I gotta go talk, we're losing connection. I'm gonna need a minute.
As ClickFunnels continues to evolve to fit your needs, we need more support, so we've been hiring. Our team has grown to over 350 employees working remotely all over the world. But in a few key hubs, we've been building some pretty cool new offices. Nearing completion on our Atlanta office in an old cotton mill, and our production studio, which basically looks like a music festival. Our goal for 2020 is to continue to build the most intuitive, powerful funnel building platform in the world, and to give you the education you need to build your business.
Name another software company that has a coaching program like this. We've had over 6,000 individual one-on-one coaching calls, 16 coaches, 771 members. Guys, we've had over 27 Two Comma Club awards. That's over $27 million. We held our very first Unlock the Secrets event in Colorado. We had our first family-oriented event with over 230 young entrepreneurs. Basically, a mini FHL. We had over 800 people come to an event in Phoenix, and as a cool bonus, we got to take them to a baseball game. We had several amazing masterminds at our Boise headquarters this year. We've had over 25,000 students register for our One Funnel Away Challenge. And we had our first ClickFunnels cruise with over 350 amazing funnel hackers. You guys having a good time?
This year we've been experimenting with a ton of new video concepts. We sponsored our first YouTube series, Freelancers, which was produced by JK Studios.
What?
What are we gonna do about the curse?
We're not cursed. Zono's right. Thanks to my new boyfriend, ClickFunnels, I set up our website and we have our first online client. We're the opposite of cursed. We're first.
The show had nearly 4 million views on YouTube. We launched the Marketing Secrets show on Facebook.
What's up, everybody?
Production wrapped on 4 new infomercials produced by the Harmon brothers. DNA Films produced a feature film about the Two Comma Club Award. Plus, our internal team, ClickFunnels Studios, has been busy, launching 2 feature films, new vlogs, and turning the entire Secrets trilogy into short films. We've been lighting rooms on fire, going through events at warp speed, and turning Russell into a giant. Oh yeah, and last year we announced we'd be getting a ClickFunnels RV to drive across the country and tell your story. Well, we did it. And now we're already planning for season 2 in Europe in a private jet. Don't tell Russell.
So one of our biggest goals is to make the word funnels mainstream so that people wouldn't, well, they just don't think that we're weird. Fortunately, the world's beginning to take notice. This year, for the second time in a row, we ranked in Inc. 500's fastest growing companies, and Entrepreneur Magazine ranked us the #1 American business. And more influencers are actually starting to use funnels. People like Tony Robbins, Robert Kiyosaki, Grant Cardone, Jesse Itzler, Julius Dean, and Dean Graziosi. All of this success has actually allowed us to pour more and more money into developing the product to make it that much more amazing. But it's also given us our biggest opportunity to give back. We announced our new charity initiative, Liberate and Educate, which allowed us to produce our second documentary for Operation Underground Railroad, which raised over $1 million.
Thank you so much. This couldn't have happened without ClickFunnels.
And for every funnel that gets published, we donate $1 to Village Impact. This year, our funnel hacking community will be building their 4th school in Kenya.
We are ClickFunnels! Yay! Most of this year I spent locked away writing the third and final book in the Secrets trilogy called Traffic Secrets. But on top of that, we did a lot of really cool things this year. So with that said, let's get ready for some rapid fire. We partnered with Tony Robbins and Dean Graziosi on Mastermind.com. It's the biggest launch in the history of internet marketing. We traveled with the top affiliates to Tony's private resort in Fiji. I spoke at 10X GrowthCon for the third time, but this time in front of 35,000 entrepreneurs. We sold to some of our top ClickFunnels affiliates on 2 yachts, all the way to the Bahamas, where we celebrated and planned the next ClickFunnels Fire Festival. We held another affiliate mastermind group in McCall, Idaho, and we rode jet skis. We launched a new campaign for funnel scripts, which finally pushed it over the 2 Comma Club X mark. We had numerous company retreats. We bought a hackathon house for all those late night funnel builds. Colette and I went to a mastermind in Puerto Rico with a bunch of our friends. We had 100,000 subscribers on YouTube. We attended Dreamforce for the second time and had an even bigger epiphany than last year. Somehow I ended up getting a part-time job as my kid's wrestling coach, which actually inspired me to get back on the mat after over 15 years off. This year I took 3rd in the country in freestyle and 2nd in Greco. What's crazy is this used to be my ultimate career goal. This was enough for me. So how did this happen? And where do we go from here? The truth is, we can never know. But in order to move forward into the new decade, there were 3 lessons that I needed to learn. Number 1, know when it's time to stop. Stop being the accountant, the manager, the CEO. Only spend your time in a role that you absolutely love. Learn to let go of control, equity, and ego, because there are good people who you could be sharing this journey with. Number 2, keep moving forward. As you get older, you may look back and think that you've been through enough, but use that as fuel rather than an excuse to slow down. You have no idea what you're actually capable of. Number 3, it's not about you. If you could start each day with a focus not on yourself, but the people that you're trying to serve, you'll surpass your goals faster than you could have ever imagined. That's why we added a new segment to our daily meetings called What We Do Matters, where we kickstart each day by sharing your wins, big or small.
There we go. Hey, everybody, it is 9 o'clock. Good morning, ClickFunnels family. Why do we do what we do?
Because we're nothing without you, the funnel hackers, the people who are crazy enough to take risks, to go all in and impact the world in a way that we never could.
This is Eric Thane. Hey, this is Mr. Steven Larson. Guys, this is Caleb Maddox. Luisa Barrios. Hey, I'm gonna tell a story about Sophia Ng. And she said, we just hit our first 6 figures in the last 30 days. Because these people have a platform, they are impacting 6 million people a week for good. This is why we do what we do, because we have the ability to change lives.
ClickFunnels is just a tool to help you to do that. So here's to 2020. It may have felt like the finish line, but really, we just got to the starting line.
93,000, 95,000, 94,000. Hey, we crossed 98,000, 100,303.
This one has been quite a journey.
I think it is.
And we will continue to be here to support and to celebrate you along the way.
Guys, let's give Eric a great big round of applause.
This lawyer in the 2 Comma Club. Do not give up. Check that out.
Let's make sure that we put our all in today, that we do like we do every other day. Let's get out there. Let's change the world. Let's help people out. What we do matters. Let's go, ClickFunnels family!
That's what we've been doing since last time we all hung out, in case you're wondering.
Yeah, so needless to say, the best part was my clip, I thought. So while these guys were all cruising and doing the filming for the year-end recap video, I was back home working with the rest of the product development team on some really cool features I want to tell you about. Wait, I can't actually...
That's tomorrow.
Tomorrow. So tomorrow I'm going to tell you about some amazing new stuff that you guys...
The loop is open. We just want to end with one quick thing. Our mission, as you guys know, is to free all entrepreneurs so you guys can focus on changing the lives of your customers. And that's why we do what we do, from everything from the software, from the training, the events, anything we do to help free you guys so you can get back to changing the lives of your customers. That's why we do this. So we love it. We're grateful for all of you guys. With that said, let's give Todd a huge round of applause. Thank you again, man.
Thank you, guys.
Thanks, Dad. Love you. All right. It's rare in life to be able to find a partner like him who thinks like me, who has a work ethic like he does, who's genius, and yet can also tell me no. And it's just grateful for him. Our whole community should be eternally grateful for him, what he built for all of us. Did I lose my mic? Okay, so you guys ready for the next session? Okay, I've been so excited about this. This is going to help pre-frame the rest of the week, and I think that it'll make you guys start shifting the way you look at things a little bit. I shared this a little bit on the 2 Comma Club cruise. Who are the people on my cruise with me? Okay, we did a midnight mastermind session because that's what we do on cruises. We stay up all night. I talked about this a little bit, and I've kind of evolved it and developed it a little bit, and I want to talk to you guys about today because I think it's a piece that's going to help you guys understand how to have more success with your funnels. And it's going to seem counterintuitive at first, but I promise you, if you stick with me and sit through the process, you'll be like, oh my gosh, I see how this is in everything that we do. And so I gave you guys a handout today. It's called Expert Evolution, how to become the leader that your tribe has been waiting for. You can take notes on that as we're going through there if you want. But I'm going to be covering 3 different frameworks right now. The first is the framework of how to find your voice. The second is a framework on how to teach frameworks. And number 3 is a framework on how to sell your frameworks. So that's the game plan for the next hour and 6 minutes and 56 seconds. Okay, so this is the blueprint. This is the framework right here of how to find your voice. I think a lot of us get started in this business. At least I did, and I was a shy, awkward, and I'm going to show you guys a clip here in a minute. You have to evolve. Like, you can't just, there's a process you go through. And a lot of times people are like, read my book, Expert Secrets, the next day they're out there with a sign saying, I'm an expert, I'm going to sell you something. And it's like, no, you missed it. That's not the purpose, it's not the path, it's not how it works. There's a process for you to be able to find your voice. And be like, well, what's the process? What does it look like? And forever I didn't know. I said, you just go out there and you do it, and you do it, and you do it. And it wasn't until recently I sat down and said, well, what did it actually look like for me? What did it look like for other people? Like, how do I reverse engineer that so we can teach it? And that's where this process and this framework came from. All right, so I'm going to walk you through this. So phase number 1 here. Phase number 1 is what I call the dreamer. And this is the phase that starts with a little spark. Okay, how many of you guys, when you got into whatever it is that you're doing, you didn't know exactly what you were going to do. You may not have been super passionate at first, but you had interest, some desire. Like, this is kind of cool. Okay, and think about your business or the marketing of your business. Like when I got started in this, I didn't know I was going to be a marketing nerd. I got a C in my marketing class. Okay, a C, and I should have gotten a D or an F, and my teacher was really, really nice. But I got a C in my marketing class. I didn't know marketing was even exciting or fun or anything. Okay, it wasn't until later when I was learning these things and trying to start a business, and all of a sudden, like, there was this spark. And I was like, oh my gosh, this is amazing. And it all begins there. Okay? So when you think back about your business, like, what was the spark initially that got you so excited about what it is you do? Can you guys remember that moment? What was it that created that spark for you? Okay, that's where this begins. Okay? The next thing that I want to kind of add upon that, this is from Tom Bilyeu, and Tom is speaking tomorrow, I believe. So I'm excited about Tom coming, or his first time in Funnel Hacking Live. But I was developing this, I saw Tom post something on Instagram, and I was like, oh my gosh, this is brilliant. He posted a little framework for how to develop your own passion. And I think about this a lot because I get people all the time who come into our world who are like, this is exciting, but I'm not passionate about anything yet, Russell. Like, what do I do? How do I find passion? I'm like, I don't know, because for me, I'm just excited about everything in life. Like, there's so many cool things happening. I was like, I don't know how to develop passion. Like, I couldn't understand that in my mind until I saw this from Tom, and I was like, oh my gosh, this is the secret. For those of you guys who may not have it, you've got a spark and you're trying to figure things out, this will help you. So this is what he said, and this is the 5-step process he said. Number 1 is you go and experiment with a whole bunch of stuff. Okay? So if you don't know, like, I don't know what business I want to be in, I don't know what my career is going to be, or whatever, like, you go try a bunch of things. That's why a lot of people go to college, right? You're taking a whole bunch of classes just to find out, like, what am I actually interested in, right? So you go and experiment with a bunch of stuff. That's step number 1. Step number 2 is after you do that, you start looking at all the things I just tested and tried, all the things I read, all the podcasts I listened to, all the videos I watched. Like, what are the things that spark my interest? Okay? You think, okay, I'm interested in that. That's a topic I'm excited about. Like, that's something I can be passionate about. Okay? So you find the thing that sparks your interest. From there, you start deeply engaging with those things that spark your interest. You start going deeper on them. Okay? So you listen to a podcast about biohacking or about whatever, and you're like, this is cool. And it's like, okay, now let's go deeper. Let's see if as I go deeper, if this keeps resonating with me. So you start going deeper, start studying, start learning, start finding people around you who are excited as well, and go as deep as you can. Okay, number 4, as you start engaging, if it goes from an interest to true fascination, okay, and you get that fascination, like, oh my gosh, this is exciting, then you go down the path of gaining mastery. And then number 5, fascination plus mastery equals passion. Okay, now this for sure was true in my journey. Again, I got started, I was a college kid. I just met my beautiful wife. I had proposed to her, and then I realized that like I didn't have a job, and she was probably going to want to eat sometimes. And I was like, what do I do? I don't know. Let me try a whole bunch of stuff. I started just doing a whole bunch of things and studying and reading and learning, and like all of a sudden I started finding these things that caused interest. And those things I started geeking out on and started going deeper and deeper till that interest became a passion. And the more fascinated I got, and the more fun it got. And that's where this journey begins. That's how you get the spark and you start to grow. Okay? All right. So after you guys have a spark, do you know the best way to turn a spark into a fire? You guys want to see? This is kind of cool. So this is the way you turn a spark into a fire. Let's dim the lights a little bit. If I get my phone out right here, I turn this light on. Let's see. Okay, this is a spark. And by itself, if I'm not careful, the spark is going to go out, right? Okay, but I need your guys' help. Can everyone get their phones out real quick and turn the lights on? Something interesting happens when you take a spark and you get it around other people's sparks, other people who are already on fire. So everyone grab your phones out and get them out. Turn your camera on really quick. I want you guys to see this. If I want to turn my spark into a fire, to an inferno, I got to find other people. Look around, you guys. Look behind you. You find other people and you get your sparks together, it starts growing. Right? If I take my spark to a fire, it can't help but grow. Am I right? And that's why we're here today, to help you guys to take your spark and to light it on fire. I tell people all the time, like, my role in this whole game is to get you guys so excited and so passionate about the marketing of your business that whatever business you're in, you'll be able to run with it. Okay, I'm assuming you're already obsessed with your business or you wouldn't be here. So my job is to get you obsessed with the marketing of it. Let me take that spark and ignite it and get it on fire. So the best way to turn that spark into a fire is to ignite it. I lost my thing. Is to get around other people. Okay? As you get around other people, you start feeling that. It starts growing inside of you. That shifts you now to the second phase. Okay, the second phase is where I start taking on the identity of the reporter. Okay? It's interesting. How many of you guys have ever heard of Howard Berg, the world's fastest reader? Okay? So when I was in elementary school in the 90s, I was an infomercial geek, so I was watching infomercials, and there was this guy who is the world's fastest reader. I saw him reading these books, and he like goes through the page like this and flips through and starts reading them super fast. I was like, that is the coolest thing. And I'm like, there's no way it's true. He's got to be faking it. And I remember watching the infomercials over and over and over again as a kid. Then fast forward like 15 years later, I'm a grown man, or grown-ish. My kids always tell me, like, Dad, you are the least mature adult we have ever met. I'm like, thank you, guys, I think. I remember on Fox News, on the Cavuto show, Howard Berg was on there. It was right after the healthcare bill came out. And there's the huge healthcare bill, and they had Howard Berg read the entire healthcare bill live on Fox News in front of everybody. So he reads the whole healthcare bill in 55 minutes, I believe, and then afterwards he interviews them, like, so what did it say? And he starts telling them all the things and reciting back huge portions of the healthcare bill. I'm like, this guy's amazing. Then I'm at an event like this. It was in Dallas. It was about 1,000 people. It's about a fifth the size of this. And I'm speaking on stage. I get done afterwards, and some guy's like, hey, there's the world's fastest readers here. He wants to meet you. And I was like, wait, Howard Berg's here? And I started like totally fangirling and freaking out. He's like, you know who he is? I'm like, yeah, I used to watch his infomercials when I was like 15 years old. Like, this is, anyway, so excited. I had a chance to meet him. And me and Howard have become really good friends since then. And actually, when I launched the Expert Secrets book, I had Howard fly out to our office. I was like, I want you to read my entire book live on Facebook, and then I want to quiz you and see if you can actually remember it. Because like, writing a book is cool, but having the world's fastest reader read it live in front of you is like way cooler than. So I had Howard, we flew him out to Boise. I was like, here's the book. I want you to read it. And he sat down and he started reading it. And did anybody see the episode of this where he did it on Funnel Hacker TV? He read the entire book in 4 minutes and 43 seconds live on Facebook. And I was like, this is so cool. I'm like, there's no way he's actually getting it. So I watched him, read the whole thing. And then we got done reading it. I had the really cool opportunity to like sit there and like, okay, let's see if you actually read it. And I started asking questions about it. And he was able to tell me things back, say, well, you said this, and you said this, and then you talked about this, and this is my thought about that. And it was one of the coolest experiences of my life. But what was he? Did you guys ever see the Sony speed reader commercial? He's on that with Justin Timberlake. It's a really funny ad where basically they had a Sony speed reader, and Justin Timberlake says something like, or maybe it was Peyton Manning. Anyway, Peyton Manning said something like, with the Sony reader, I could read 100 books. And Howard Berger goes, I just did. And then Justin Timberlake's like, I just did too. It's the funniest commercial. Anyway, it's worth watching. So that night after we got done, we took Howard out to dinner in Boise. And I'm like sitting here. I'm like, this is a guy who's read over 30,000 books. Like every book you can dream of, he's read. Like, what do you ask this guy? Like he's got information about everything. I'm like, I could ask him about business or about finance or about sports or about anything. And I was like, I'm going to go to a spot that you don't normally go with people because I'm really, really curious. And so I asked him, I said, Howard, I'm really curious. After all your life experience, reading 30,000 books, like, what's your opinion on God? He looked at me for a minute, he smiled. He said, you know what's interesting? He said, most people, when they want to learn about a topic, they'll read one book or one thing, and they base their opinions on that. It becomes fact for them, and they go forward. He said, what I like to do instead is, I like to read all the people's opinions. So he's like, I'll read 10, 15, 20 books about a topic. For example, he's like, so for religion, I basically read every single book on the topic, as many as I possibly could, like hundreds and hundreds of books. He said, by reading a whole bunch of things about it, he said, I got a very holistic view of what I believe God is. He said, based on that, let me tell you what I believe. I had one of the most fascinating conversations of my life to hear what someone like this who's had a chance to learn and read from every religion you can dream of what his beliefs were on God. One of the most coolest, most amazing conversations of my life. So I was thinking about this with Howard. I started thinking about how that works in our life. A lot of times we come into this world and we're trying to do our business and we become the expert, like I know everything, and then we go out there and we try to convince people. But the problem is we read one book. And I was like, the phase for you to really evolve and to find your voice isn't to take one idea and then start running with it. It's to get a very holistic view. So I started looking back at when I got started, and I found something really embarrassing. This right here is the first video I ever created ever. This is, last year I showed you guys one and y'all teased me. This one's worse. So this is about the time YouTube came out, and a couple people had videos on their websites, and I was like, I'm going to do a video. And I remember Armin Moore had a video, and he had the background was gone, and he was on the page, and it looked really cool. So I'm like, I'm going to do that. So I bought a video camera, I set it up, and I recorded this video, and it didn't work. I tried to edit it. I couldn't get the background to delete, and it was so many bad things. But this was the very first video I ever made, and I want you guys to hear how bad I was. And hopefully this will give some of you guys some encouragement. You're like, if that guy can do it. Okay.
Hi, I'm Russell Brunson. Welcome to the secondtier.com. I'm here to help you get Okay. Hi, I'm Russell Brunson, and welcome to the secondtier.com. I'm here, should I say that? I'm here to introduce you. What'd you say? Hi, I'm Russell Brunson, and welcome to the secondtier.com. I want to help you get started with your affiliate training today. The first thing you need to do is click on the link above me and download our affiliate. That was real cool, the flushing toilet in the background.
He literally flushed it in the middle of the video. It was me and him. There were two of us in the room. Well, come on. Anyway, so there's hope for all of you, I swear. So this is the beginning of my journey. And I was like, I'm horrible, but I'm going to try. And I started trying. Now, at this point in time, I had my beliefs. Okay, this is how I'm going to do this thing. But I didn't know marketing. I didn't know these things. I'm like, how do I learn this? And so what I did is I went out there, I said, okay, I'm going to do what Howard Berg would have done. I'm just going to take my opinion and believe everything. I'm going to go and find a whole bunch of people who know more than me. I'm going to talk to them, interview them, figure out all their stuff, and based on finding out opinions from a whole bunch of people, from there I can develop an actual opinion. So this little nerdy Russell from 15 years ago went out there, and he found the best of the time. This is Carl Galletti. I used to call him all the time and ask him questions. This is Mike Filsaime. This is Gary Ambrose. This is Brad Callen, I think's in the room. This is Brad Fallon. This is Ewan Chia. This is Rosalind Gardner. This is Jack Humphreys. This is Keith Baxter. These are the people when I got started in the game. They were the people that were already on fire. I had a little flame. I was like, I have a flame. This thing's going to go out if I don't find somebody fast. I started looking, who's got the fire? Who's got the fire? I need to find those people. And I found the fire. I got on the phone with them. I called them. I flew to the house. I had them fly to my house. I did everything I could. I got in the rooms they were in because I knew that if I was to take my spark and I needed to become a fire, I had to be with the people who were already on fire. I found those people, and this little nerdy Russell was able to take his spark and turn it into a fire. Okay? So for all of you guys, the next step in this journey of growth for you is first off to be fascinated, have a spark, and then you got to find the people who have the fire. Okay, and you have to go to them humbly and start asking them their questions. And don't judge everything based on what the lens that you view the world through. Find out other people. Be open to other opinions, other ideas, because it's going to give you a very holistic view and make you give you the ability to serve your people at a much higher level than you ever could by just looking at one angle. Okay? All right, so the first two phases in this formula, in this framework, are all about growth. Okay? It's your journey to become something bigger. Okay? Become something better. Become the person, the leader that you need to be to lead your people. Now, after you go through these first two phases, number one of dreaming and having a spark, number two is finding people around you, asking them questions, learning from everybody you can, every single piece of information you can get access to, and learning from everybody, then we start shifting from growth to contribution. Okay? Alex Sharfin always talks about the call to contribution, how entrepreneurs feel if they hear the call to contribution. I need to contribute. I got to create something. I got to do something. I got to go out. I got to do something, right? You guys have heard that call. That's why you're here. Right? You've heard that call to contribution, like, how do I contribute more? Okay? And so there comes a time in all our lives when we keep growing and growing, keep studying and learning, but if you don't start shifting from growth to contribution, you will flatline. Okay, the first time I understood this was true when I was a wrestler. Okay, in college I was a wrestler, in high school I was a wrestler. I was a state champ in high school, took second place in the country, I was All-American in high school, and I thought I knew everything. Okay, the worst thing could possibly happen to any of us is we think we know everything. I was like, I know everything. Like, I'm such a good wrestler. I remember my senior year, after I took second place in the nation, my coach, Greg Williams, who's now the coach at UVU, he said, hey, do you want to come coach at a wrestling camp? I was like, I don't know. Like, I got girls to date this summer. This is like my big time before going to college. And he's like, I'll pay you $100. I'm like, I'm in. Let's go. So that was the value of a week of my time back then. So I went to the wrestling camp. He's like, okay, here's some kids. I need you to train them how to wrestle. I'm like, okay. So I go to the kids. I'm like, okay, this is how. And I remember we're teaching a cheap tilt, which is like my move. And I was like, hey, here's how you do a cheap tilt. I show the kids. I'm like, hey, go try it. I sit back, and the kids come out, and they start trying it, and nobody gets it even remotely close. They all, like almost all of them, end up pinning themselves. I'm like, no, you guys, you don't listen to a word I said. Hold on, come back in. I showed, this is how you do a cheap tilt. Okay, no, go do it. And they go back out, and everyone's like doing the same thing, flopping all over the place, pinning themselves. And I'm like, what is wrong with these kids? Like, oh. I sit back, I'm like, well, what are they doing wrong? I start looking, I'm like, oh my gosh. He's doing it wrong because his hips are like, they keep sliding out. And his knee, like, I never know, like, this knee needs to be, the foot's got to be planted here, and these got to be pointing to the ceiling. And then what else? I started looking, and I said, come back in, guys, come back in. Look at this. I said, when you're doing it, like, notice, look where my foot's at. It's right here. Look where my knee's pointed. And they're like, oh, cool. Okay, go try it again. They start doing it, and all of a sudden, the kids start getting better. I was like, huh. And then I bring it back in, and we go back and forth, and for the entire week I spent with these kids, I'm looking at, like, what I'm doing on my processes, understanding why they work, and then figuring that out. And as you start, one of the fascinating things about a pattern is after you become aware of a pattern, it's like, oh, I know the pattern. Now I can manipulate, I can change it, I can grow it, I can figure things out based on that. And so for me, like, I'd gotten to a point where I'd grown personally at a certain level, and I had stopped. I was stagnated. And when I shifted and started becoming a coach and helping other people, that's where I started to continue to grow. That's where I shifted from growth to contribution, and that's how I got the next level of growth. Okay? So for all of us, there comes that time where as you're growing and you're sharing, the only way to continue to grow is to shift from growth to contribution. Okay, so we start coming out there. This is where most entrepreneurship, most businesses start, when you're shifting from like, how do I become better to how do I make other people better? Okay, and that's the next level. Way more fulfillment, by the way, on the contribution side. Okay, so that moves us to phase number 3 of the framework. Phase number 3 now we start building our own frameworks. Okay, this is going to be weird for a minute, and I promise you at the end you're going to be like, oh my gosh, this is amazing. Okay, so we need to start creating our own frameworks. If you notice, most of the greatest entrepreneurs, business people, they have their own proprietary frameworks. Okay, so this is the next phase. After you've gone through growth, now you're shifting contribution, this next phase is start creating your own. Okay, so the first step here is you need to create what we call your framework hypothesis. What is my framework to get somebody a certain result? Okay, so let's just say this is me. This could be for any business, right? Here's your path. So here's you. You're going on this journey up here, and this is the result. This is the thing you're trying to get to, right? And so as you've been going through your growth, and you've been learning, and you've been studying, and obviously figuring out, and you're learning, and you're moving yourself up this line, okay? Now you're like, I think I know how to get here. I'm pretty sure I know how to do that. So based on me interviewing 50 people or like reading a whole bunch of books or whatever that thing is, I'm going to make my hypothesis. I think this is what I need to do to get that result. Okay, we make a hypothesis. Now how do we make our hypothesis? This is something Bruce Lee said. Thank you, James Frill, for finding this quote for me. But Bruce Lee talked about this. He said, what you do is you research your own experience, you absorb what's useful, and you reject what's useless, and add essentially which is your own. Okay, as you're going through this growth phase where you're interviewing a whole bunch of people and you're learning from a whole bunch of different experts, the goal is not to like learn everything they say and just believe it as is, right? There's a lot, like when I was listening to Howard Berg, a lot of his beliefs on God I agree with, a lot of them I didn't. Didn't mean it was right or wrong, okay? But I was able to listen to that thing and say, well, this is awesome. I'm going to take these gold nuggets. These are the things for me that I believe in that I think can add to what I believe. Okay, same thing here. When you're going through this process of learning and studying and growth, you're looking for the nuggets. Like, what are the things that I believe in? Can you take all the different pieces? You take that and say, okay, now that I have this is my framework hypothesis. This is what I think is the secret. Okay, so we create our framework hypothesis, which is basically, okay, for me to get this result, I go to step 1, step 2, step 3, and that's how I'm going to get this result. Okay, now we have a hypothesis. That's step number 1. Step number 2, now that I have a hypothesis, this is what I think I'm going to do to get that result. Now we got to go out there and actually test your framework hypothesis on yourself. You have to become a human guinea pig. A lot of people get the ordering wrong. They say, okay, here's my framework hypothesis. Let me go sell something. Like, no, not yet. This is where we got to figure out if it actually works on you. Okay? One of the people I respect a lot is Tim Ferriss. They've called him a lot of times the human guinea pig. He was one of the original biohackers. And I was reading, I don't remember which one of his books, but one of his books he was talking about, he implanted something inside of his body to like test his blood levels. And every single day he would test little things. Like he would take this supplement, see what happened to his blood levels. He'd take this, and he'd try this, and he'd do these things. It said he took over 1,000 blood tests based on all these different things. And after all said and done, he said, based on all the things I learned, this is the diet that's the best. This is the supplements. These are the things that this is the framework that I believe is optimal for you to be able to get the result you're trying to get. Okay, so just like Tim Ferriss became a human guinea pig, you've got to become a human guinea pig for your framework at first as well. Okay, so you take that, you say, okay, I think this is the way I get my result, and you go out there on this journey. You know, you go on the journey, what's going to happen is sometimes you're going to go through the process and be like, I was right. I figured it out. I'm at the top. But what typically happens is you go on this journey with your framework. A lot of times it doesn't work at first, right? You try something like, oh, it failed. You try something else, oh, it failed. Okay, and that's okay. This is the framework hypothesis. You can tweak and say, I'm going to change this. I'm going to change this. So eventually it's like, okay, and eventually you get to the top where you have the success and you get the result you want. Okay? So now you've got a process. You've got a system that works. I know it works for me. It's worked for me. And so that is the first step here where you become a framework creator. Boom, I have a framework that works. Okay, how many of you guys in this room now have a framework that works for whatever it is you do? Okay, it could be anything from like how to lose weight to how to get a white smile to how to make more money, how to start a business, how to invest in whatever, how to save money on taxes, right? Every business needs to have a framework. Okay, and some of you guys are like, but Russell, this doesn't make sense to me because I don't sell information products. I don't need a framework. This only works for the info people. This only works for authors and speakers. This doesn't work for me because I'm a blah, fill in the blank, right? Well, we understand that all businesses are about one thing and one thing only. Businesses are about how in the world do I get a client a result? That's it. Okay? I'm in business to do this, to get this client this result. Okay, that's what you have to understand. And there's always a framework or a process to get somebody that result. Okay, so the question you got to ask yourself is, what is the framework that somebody must follow to get a certain result? Okay, and what's interesting is your product's probably just a piece of that framework. It's not the whole thing. Okay, so what is the framework someone must follow if you want to get a certain result? Okay, so think about whatever business you are, this is the result the person's coming to you with. They want to get out of pain. They want to grow taller. They want to grow hair. They want whatever your business is, right? That's the result. What's the process they have to go through to get that result with you? Okay? And so, for example, here's ClickFunnels, right? So ClickFunnels, we have a framework. You guys see me talk about frameworks all the time, right? And so we have a framework to help people to grow a company online through funnels. Okay, so that is my framework. Now, what's interesting about my framework is the product, ClickFunnels, the software, is just one step in the framework, right? So I'm like, step number 1, you got to have an idea. Step number 2, you got to create an offer. Step number 3, and then also like step 5, it's like now you need ClickFunnels to build the thing, right? If I just came to people like, oh, you need ClickFunnels, this is awesome software, like why? Like, because it's awesome, you can move things and drag and drop, it's really easy, like, I don't get it. But if I'm like, what's the result you want? This is the result you want? Cool. There's a 5-step framework. Step number 1, you got to do this. Step number 2, step number 3, and now you need the software for step number 4 and step number 5. Does that make sense? So my product becomes part of the framework. It is not the framework. Okay, so let me show you how this works for a more traditional company, like a dentist, okay? So the dentist, if I was a dentist, I would have a framework for how to get white teeth. Okay, now there's a whole process, right? I'm not a dentist, so I don't know exactly the process, but they have a framework to get white teeth, right? Someone came to me as a dentist, say, I need white teeth. Okay, cool. First thing you got to do is you got to brush twice a week. Or, no, not a week. Twice a day. Yeah. Step 1, brush twice a day. Step number 2, you got to... you should be using white strips or hydrogen peroxide. Step number 3, you've got to come to the dentist. My product is like step number 3, right? One of the steps is you come to me and we'll do teeth whitening or we'll do alignment or whatever the thing is, right? Okay, but I still have a process. If I'm just like, hey, I'm a dentist, you should come to me so I can clean your teeth. Like it's one thing. It's like, well, what's the result? The result's bigger than that, right? The result's the framework. So here's the framework to get somebody that result. And your product becomes one step in the framework. Does that make sense? Same thing is true like with e-commerce sellers. If you're selling physical products, okay, my product is a framework to get blank. To get what? Right? And then inside of there, your product becomes part of it, right? So for example, let's say I was selling flashlights. I might have just a flashlight by itself will sell, but if you look at, some of you guys have heard Trey Llewellyn's story a lot of times. He was the first funnel inside ClickFunnels that blew up to astronomical levels. But he shifted. It was a flashlight at first, but we went from like it being a flashlight to being a survival flashlight. I'm going to show you guys how a framework for how to have survival, right? It wasn't just a flashlight. It was like part of a framework of like, I don't know exactly how you use flashlights for survival. You shine in people's eyes and blind them so you can kick them in the shins or something. But it became part of a framework, okay? So every product, everything is a framework. What's the result you're trying to get somebody? And your product is a lot of times one piece of the framework, okay? Now, the cool thing about frameworks is you start creating them. We can do frameworks, like if I can take a framework, I can teach that framework in 3 minutes, or I can teach it in 30 minutes, or I can teach it in 3 hours. Okay? Like I can sit down here and say, okay, guys, I'm going to teach you guys the new Traffic Secrets book. And I could do a 3-minute presentation and teach you my Traffic Secrets, like the core pieces of the Traffic Secrets book, right? Or I could say, okay, I'm going to do a 30-minute presentation. Let me teach you the core things. I could bulk it up. I could tell more stories. I could add more things to it. Or if I wanted a 3-hour presentation, I could do that. Or I could do a 3-day event just on Traffic Secrets by itself as well. Okay? And so that's something to kind of think through. And the reason why these frameworks are so important, is, as you'll see here in a second, is we use frameworks in every aspect of the funnel, as you'll see here, okay? But the first thing what you guys understand is that we can create frameworks really, really quickly. So again, this is Tom Bilyeu. Tom and his wife, Lisa, are some of the best framework creators I've ever seen. Who follows them on Instagram? Tom or Lisa? Okay. If not, you guys start following them just so you can see the frameworks and how they do them so often. So I'm going to show you guys a couple of them. So Tom put together a framework called Sleep Habits. It's hard to see up here. These are sleep habits. There's 6 sleep habits to increase your sleep, right? So step number 1, stop eating 3 to 4 hours before bed. Step number 2, use blue blockers 2 to 3 hours before going to bed. Step number 3, go to bed early. Step number 4, set your intentions. And there's his 6-step framework for sleeping better, okay? Here's another one. He created a framework based on a movie. How many of you guys have ever seen a movie before? Like 4 of you guys? Who has ever seen a movie before? Okay, so Tom watched The Matrix. He's like, I'm going to show you guys the 7 lessons I learned from The Matrix. And he showed his framework for Matrix. Number 1, you can't do it until you believe it. Number 2, the world as you perceive it isn't real. And on and on and on. Okay, here's one that he made his framework for surviving Thanksgiving dinner. Step number 1, minimum 16-hour fast every day. Step number 2, okay? And they post these all the time. These are just simple little frameworks. Okay, the reason why I'm showing you guys this right now, and I'm talking about the fact that you can create a framework that happens in 3 minutes versus 30 is because a lot of times I don't want to spend 2 years building a huge framework. I want to test some stuff out. So on social media, I can post a framework. I can do a podcast posting a framework and see if people care about it, right? I'm going to show you guys my 5-step framework for getting more ads, more views on YouTube. Who here wants to see that one? Okay, I'm not doing that one. Okay, and I post another one. I'm like, who here wants my 5-step framework to add 100,000 people to your list in the next 2 days? Oh, okay, sweet. I'm going to go deeper on that. Right? But I could post something on Instagram like, here's my 5-step system to build a list, and if nobody cares, I don't go deep there. If I post and be like, oh, people are freaking out, this is awesome, let me go deeper. Okay, if I'm like, let's say I'm a dentist, I'm like, okay, I'm going to post a 5-step framework how to get coffee stains off your teeth from home. Who here would want that? You guys don't believe me? I'm not a... Anyway, but I could post that really quick and be like, oh my gosh, nobody cares, I'm not going to build it. Or I post something else, and you start finding out, right? So it's essentially become quick at creating these little frameworks and putting them out there and testing them to see what are the things that causes people to get excited before you go deeper. Okay, if you guys notice, almost every one of my podcast episodes, I think I'm like 600 episodes deep now or more, is me sharing a quick framework. That's it. And sometimes you guys don't tell me anything. I'm like, okay, that one sucked. But guess how I know when I do a good one? You guys message me. I get tons of them like, dude, that was amazing. That was fire, Russell. Like people are the fire emoji. I'm like, oh, okay. And people go crazy. And I'm like, okay, I'm going to go deeper there. Okay? All the stuff I share on stages like this, our own stage, this is the year of testing. And a lot of stuff you guys like don't care about. Other things you guys freak out about. So I'm looking like, what are the frameworks that people are interested in? I'm going to go deeper those. I'm going to start creating those things. Okay? All right. So understand that frameworks, as you can see, are in every step of the funnel. There's frameworks here at the ad level. There's frameworks here on the opt-in level. Okay, there's frameworks where you're selling and frameworks for your upsells. Okay, so I'll show you guys this in a lot more detail here in a second. I'm going to show you guys a case study of one so you see exactly how they fit. Okay, but just imagine an ad. You see ad like, who here wants my 3-step framework for how to add more, blah, 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 blah. Sweet, you click on that, boom, takes you to the landing page. Awesome. Give me your email address. I'm going to give you my 5-step framework for how to do whatever. They opt in. Next page, like, cool. I just emailed you the framework. There's a 3-hour video of me teaching this framework in more detail. For $37, you can have it. Boom, and then we go through like that, okay? So the framework is what drives people and pulls them from page to page to page throughout. Okay, step number 3, after you've created these frameworks, you have to give your framework a proprietary name. Okay? This way it becomes your own. If you don't do that, then it's just like anybody can rip it off. Like, you got to create your own proprietary frameworks. Okay? So for example, I'm going to see how well you guys have been paying attention to me for the last 5 years. Okay, I'm going to draw something, and when you know what this framework is, I want you to shout it out at the top of your lungs. Okay? You guys ready for this? The first one wins $1 million. Just kidding, you win nothing. Yeah, everyone shout. Okay, as soon as you know what the framework is, post it out. Okay. Oh, perfect webinar. Okay. There's my framework for how to run a webinar. Do you know how many leads I have gotten by giving people for free my framework for how to run a webinar? Hundreds and hundreds of thousands of leads. The people have opted in saying, I want to learn how to do a webinar. They give me their email address. I give them the perfect webinar script. Then we have a free plus shipping version, and we go through there. And it's become a huge, huge, huge lead generator for us that has somehow, you're like, well, Russell, what does perfect webinar have to do with ClickFunnels? ClickFunnels isn't even in the framework. Oh, but if you have a webinar that works, you need ClickFunnels to host. Oh. Okay, that's number 1. You guys ready for number 2? Okay, let's see what framework, if you guys know what framework is next. Okay, you guys ready for this? First one yells it out wins. Value ladder. You guys know my frameworks. Okay, there's the value ladder framework. Okay, here's the next one. This is going to be a little trickier. This one has not been as prevalent, but if you were here last year, you should know this one. What's this? You all failed. Everyone who's here last year, go home. Someone said it. Hook, story, offer. Okay, I've got one more in my pop quiz. Okay, you guys ready for this one? As loud as you can, so you know what it is. All right. Okay, you guys know my frameworks. How many of you guys feel like you could confidently come up and teach any of these frameworks because you've seen them so many times? Yeah. The nice thing about a framework is that people, after they see the framework, they can remember it. They can reteach it. They can share it. They can grow. Like, it's so powerful having your own frameworks. Tonight after dinner, we are doing a story workshop. I'm going to be going deep into my story frameworks. I just want to make sure you guys come back for that because it's going to be really, really fun. I put a lot of work into it. We're going to learn how to tell some stories. Okay, if you look at business, though, like my entire business is just frameworks. How many of you guys read any of these 4 books? What's that last one? What? Okay, .com secrets are all my frameworks for the first 10 years of my business. I put them together in a book. You guys read the book. You're like, these are amazing. I need to buy ClickFunnels now. Okay, expert secrets are my frameworks of how to sell, how to put videos and copy on the pages to convert people as they come through your funnels. Traffic secrets comes out very, very soon, which is all the frameworks how we get traffic into our funnels. And unlock the secrets is a secret that I just keep looping you guys to tease you. And you're like, what is it? I'm not ever going to tell you. But you'll find out someday. So there's a framework for that about open loops. So there you are. That's frameworks to grow a company, right? Okay. If you look at this, it's interesting. There's frameworks that are embedded inside of frameworks, right? So if you look at expert secrets, and if I needed to do a 5-second Instagram post, or I wanted to make a 3-minute video about the framework expert secrets, I would go to the table of contents, and section 1 of the book is how to create a mass movement. Step 2 is belief through story. Step 3 is your moral obligation, and step 4 is the funnels you use. Okay, so there's a framework. It's a 4-step framework for how to become an expert. Okay, I could teach that in 3 minutes. But if you look at this, inside of each framework, each of these sections of the book, there's a whole bunch of things inside of each section of the book. What are they called? Chapters. So if you break it up bigger, chapter 1 is create your own movement, but then inside of there's a framework. There's the create your own mass movement. There's 5 steps. Number 1 is become the charismatic leader. Number 2, the future-based cause. Number 3, the new opportunity. Number 4, opportunity switch. Okay, so there's a framework for how to create a mass movement. Now I could go another step deeper. Like, what's the framework for the new opportunity? I have a framework for that as well. Okay, so there's frameworks inside of frameworks inside of frameworks. This is what we do as entrepreneurs, as creators, is we're creating frameworks for our people to help get them results. Okay, you guys understand that? Like, that's what our goal is. So as we are going on this journey ourselves, trying to find our voice and become an expert, we're going through this path. where we say, I'm trying to get this result for myself first. I'm going through this growth. I'm trying to get the result as I'm going through this path. I'm learning. I'm creating my own framework hypothesis. Like, oh my gosh, I got a result. I have a framework. I have a proven system now to get a result. Okay? Which is all business really is what's the result you're trying to get some. Now I have a proven framework to get anybody this result. Okay, so now you got a framework. What do you do? Go sell stuff now? Yeah. No, not yet. You all failed the test. Just because you have a framework does not mean you should go start selling it or making money from it. Okay? Just because it worked for you does not mean it's going to work for everybody. I had a mistake when I first got started in this part of the business where I had these funnels that worked in my business, and I started trying to use them on other companies, and I realized there were intricacies that I didn't understand in my company versus other people's. And it took me a while to respect that enough to say, look, I got to figure out how does this work? Like, what are the changes to make it work in a gym versus a dentist versus someone selling physical products? Like, you have to figure out those changes, intricacies. So next step is not for you to go start selling them. The next phase here is for you to start working for free and serving your future dream clients. Okay? You know that the frameworks work for you. It got you the result. Now you got to find out if it's going to work for other people as well. This is where you will learn the intricacies of your art. Okay? So when I got started in this business, in the coaching side of this business, what I didn't do is set up a website or set up a funnel and be like, hey, I'm Russell Brunson. I'm really cool. One time I made a bunch of money. You guys should sign up for my coaching program. Because for two reasons. Number one, you sound like a jerk. And number two, just because I made money doesn't mean I'm going to help anybody else make money. So the next phase for me is like, well, I'm going to go work for free to see if what I think is right, this hypothesis I have worked for me, I'm going to see if it works for other people. Okay, so what I did, this is right before the whole ClickFunnels journey took off. I met this guy named Drew Canoli. How many of you guys know Drew Canoli in here? Okay. Yeah, Fit Life TV, they own Organifi. And I met Drew, and at the time, they were kind of struggling in their business a little bit. And it's kind of a crazy, we had a friend in mutual, and I was going through this juicing phase in my life where I just wanted to juice everything, and Drew's like the juicing guy. So I was like, my wife and I and kids were going to Legoland, and Drew lives in San Diego, so I was like, hey, can you introduce me to Drew? I'd love to meet him when I'm out there. And so our co-friend kind of connected us together. And like 2 days later, I jumped in my very first Uber ride ever. I drove to Drew's house. And we sat down. And it was this awkward moment when like we haven't ever talked before. We got kind of introduced by this other third person. Like, it's going to be weird. I remember knocking on his door. He opened it up. I'm like, hey, do we hug or just like, like the weird internet hi, like, hi, I've seen your face a lot. And so he let me in, and we walk in, and we walk into his room. And I remember in his front room, I sat down, and on the table was one of my first things we saw. It was called 108 Split Test. Some of you guys have read the 108 Split Test book? It was sitting there. I was like, oh, dude, you got my book. And he's like, now that I have your book, the creepiest thing just happened. He's like, I bought your book like 2 days ago. It showed up. I'm sitting here reading through all your split tests, and in my head, I'm thinking, man, wouldn't it be cool if Russell Brunson could actually come here and just do these tests for us? Because I don't know how we're even going to do these. And then like an hour later, Carl calls me and says, hey, this guy named Russell Brunson wants to meet you. He's coming to your house. And now you're sitting here in my living room. I was like, that is the weirdest, creepiest thing ever. So I went there, hang out with Drew and get to know him a little bit. And this is one of the first products that they were selling at the time. And I could tell that they were kind of struggling. And I was like, hey, I'm writing this book. It's called .com Secrets. It's not out yet, but I'm writing this book. And we're working on this thing. And like, I would love to come out and just like help you guys out. He's like, well, what would it cost? I'm like, well, I'll just do it for free. He's like, why would you do that? I'm like, I don't know, because I have no idea if it's going to work or not. Like, I don't want to charge you. It worked for me. I think it'll work for you, but I'm not really sure. And like, I would love and I love what you're doing. I love your mission. Can I come help you for free? And we kind of went back and forth. He's like, well, what's in it for you? I'm like, I don't know. I'm sure if something awesome happens, it'll be great. But I just want to come in and just work for free. So finally, he agreed to. I flew out there, got him and his team in a little conference room. We didn't have whiteboards, so I had whiting on the windows, because I can't write or can't teach without doodling. We wrote on windows, build a whole bunch of stuff out. About this time, they were working on a green drink. We helped them to kind of figure out the funnel for that, to launch it. And when this got done, they launched Organifi a little shortly afterwards and completely transformed their company. They went from a struggling company to, I'm not at liberty to share their numbers, but they are in the high 8 figures, killing it right now with Organifi. So after doing that, I was like, oh my gosh, this stuff does work for other people. And then after that, Drew went and made a video telling the story, and like, hey, Russell came to us, we were struggling. He gave us his frameworks, gave us his funnels. We launched it. This is what happened. I took that video, I put it up on a page and said, hey, Drew thinks I'm awesome. If you want to work with me like Drew did, apply down below. And that's why I created my Inner Circle program that we filled up with 100 people off the backs initially of this video. Okay? So that's the key, you guys. After you have the framework, after it works for yourself, now you go out and you work for free for other people to find out if what you're doing, what you're creating, if it's going to work for other people as well. This is a step, by the way, that most people miss. They create a framework and they try to start selling it. And they're like, oh, my funnel's not working. It's like, because there's no social proof. There's no, like, I don't know if this is actually going to work for me. It worked for you, sure, but what is going to work for me? Like, I'm in a different business. I do something completely separate. Like, does it work for me as well? Okay, so go out there and work for free to prove that what you're doing actually works. Okay? Now, that moves us now to step number 5, and this is where you become an expert, where you start finding your voice. Okay? I'm a huge believer that your results are your qualifications. Okay? This is how you qualify yourself. As you guys heard earlier, I got a C in my marketing class, so I have no marketing degree, yet we arguably run one of the biggest marketing training companies on planet Earth. Okay? Our results are our qualification. And you guys are the same thing. You have to understand that. After you've proven for yourself, you've proven for other people, like that's your qualifications to go out there and start creating and sharing. Okay, so tomorrow I'm going to be talking deeper on value ladder stuff. But I just want to share, if those who don't understand the value ladder and this concept right now, I want to share that each step in the value ladder, there are frameworks, okay? There's frameworks at the bottom of the value ladder as you start moving up. If you look at the transition point, usually when you're moving up the value ladder, providing more value and charging more money, at the lower tier, it's like people are doing the framework themselves. You give them a framework, they opt in, they get downloaded, they're on their own, they get it themselves, right? As they move up the value ladder, it's like, hey, if you pay me something, I'll do it for you. Or I'll do it with you. Okay, and you move up the value higher, so I'll do it for you, and then even higher, some kind of combination of both. Okay? So let me show you guys a framework in action. How many of you guys want to see this whole process in action, an actual funnel that's killing it right now inside of ClickFunnels? Okay. All right. So I'm going to show you guys Peng Joon's funnel. Hopefully Peng Joon is okay with this. He made me do a cameo for his infomercial, or for his new music video last night. So I feel like he owes me. So I'm going to show his funnel. We're funnel hacking. I bought it like 400 times for you guys, so he made a lot of money on this already. But I want to show you guys behind the scenes of how Peng perfectly used this framework in action. How many of you guys were in Funnel Hacking Live 2 years ago when or 3 years ago when he gave his presentation on this content machine? Okay. So he came and did a presentation for 30 minutes, and that presentation became the whole foundation. That framework he taught at Funnel Hacking Live in 30 minutes became the framework for this entire funnel that I'm going to show you guys. But it could, and Peng's kind of like me, and he's got ADD, and he has like 500 things happening. But if he wanted to, this and this alone could be his entire business, okay? All based on one framework. Okay, so I'm going to show you how this works. So this is the very beginning of the framework. The framework starts as an ad. And if you zoom in here, make it a little bigger so I can see it here. If you read his ad, it says, who here wants me to reveal my 9-step system for telling them blah, 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 blah. Okay, so this is his framework, his 9-step system. Okay, this is the ad he runs on Facebook. Okay, so that's the first step here. So the first, he's got an ad on the framework. Come here to get my 9-step system, right? Someone reads the ad, they say, oh, that framework looks awesome. I want to get the result he's promised me by following this framework. So they click on the ad and then takes them to step number 2 here, which is the special offer. Okay, so Peng special offer is a do-it-yourself. It's a book, okay, which is literally the transcripts of his presentation here at Funnel Hacking Live with pictures of the slides. It's pretty amazing. Okay, so this is like a free plus shipping. Buy this book. You can do it yourself. You can go read the thing, and then you're off on your own. You can do it yourself. Okay, it's free. Just pay shipping and handling. The bottom tier of the value ladder, right? Okay, huge percentage of people that click on the ad land on this page are like, sweet, this book looks awesome. I want the framework. They order it. He ships out the framework, and they get the framework in their hands. Do it yourself. Okay, so there's step number 2 there in the process. Okay, now after somebody buys that, now Peng immediately starts moving them up the value ladder within the same framework. Okay, so now he moves to upsell number 1. So his first upsell is like, cool, you just got the book. I'm shipping it out to you. You're going to be able to read it and learn how to do it yourself. But how would you like to do it with me? I actually created a whole entire video course that's way bigger than what's inside the book. We can sit here and we can go for the next 6 weeks, and you can do it with me. I'll train you. You listen. You go and you implement it. And we go back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. Okay, is it done for you thing? So the upsell is the same framework, but he shifted from do it yourself to I'm going to do it with you. Okay, and this is the first upsell. I think he sells this for $297, I believe. Okay, so that's upsell number 1. Now he moves to upsell number 2, which, by the way, is the same framework. He's just moving up the value ladder. So the next, so upsell number 2 now is he said, okay, you bought the book. How would you like for my team to just do it for you? Okay, we could create all the ads and the banners and all the content things you need, and every single month we're going to ship you out, every month we'll give you a whole bunch of things you can download, and we'll do this whole process for you. You just plug your videos in, and you've got it all done for you. Okay, and this one is, what's he charge for it? It's $897 a year or $97 a month. Okay, and so he's taking that same framework. Framework didn't shift, right? It's still the framework for how to get more people on video, but he shifted how it was fulfilled. Now it's done for you. I'll just do it for you, and he charges almost $1,000 for that. Okay, so that's upsell number 2. And then on the thank you page, he has a webinar where you come and you register for the webinar, and the webinar is a combination where he sells a $3,000 version where they do even more for you, and it's a combination of doing done for you, done with you, a bunch of other things like that, and that moves it through, okay? But that's one framework that Payne created, okay? This framework, this funnel does really, really well, and but I want you to understand, like, if this was his only business, it could be, right? This alone is a 2 Comma Club business by itself if he just focused on that alone. Okay, from one framework. How many of you guys think you could develop a framework to show people how to get the result in whatever businesses that you actually do? Okay? It's not that difficult. So it's understanding that these frameworks, that's what they are. Okay? Most of the offers we're creating are based on some type of framework. So we have to become really, 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 really good at creating frameworks. I want you to pause for a second and look back in time of everything you've experienced with me before you got here today. The reason why you're in this room is because somewhere along the line you saw a framework. You clicked on it. And somewhere along the line, you opted in for a framework. Somewhere you bought a framework, and then you went through the thing, and like, you guys are here today. This entire event is a framework, okay? I'm a framework to help you guys to get into the 2 Comma Club. Like, that's the whole goal of this event, right? How do we train people, educate them to get them to a spot where they can get the award on stage with us in 2 days from now, right? That's the whole framework that we build this whole event around. People ask me every single year, well, Russell, I want to speak in Funnel Hacking Live. I want to speak in Funnel Hacking Live. I'm like, you don't understand. I don't pick speakers. I build a framework, and I find out who's the best speaker for each step of the framework, okay? That's how we orchestrate this entire event. Okay, you will notice as you go through, every single speaker who gets on the stage will have a framework for something. Okay? They all have received some kind of result, and they're going to give you their framework for that result. Here's what you do. Step 1, step 2, step 3, step 4. So when you guys looking through all these presentations through that lens of like, what's the framework? What's the framework I'm going to get? I have the process. I have it now. I can go back and I can implement it. That's one lens. But the other thing I want you guys thinking through is like, as you start seeing this and see how I teach my frameworks, how other people teach their frameworks, is understanding like, this is the business that we're in. Okay? I don't care if you're a dentist, a chiropractor, a supplement seller, a physical product, selling info, coaching, consulting, whatever it is, like this, if you can understand how to package things into frameworks, now you've got sexy ads, now you've got amazing opt-ins, now you've got all the things you need to generate leads, to get people coming into your world. You have a proprietary thing that's unique to you versus everybody else, okay? Especially if you're selling a commodity, especially if you're a local business where there's 500 other people doing exactly what you do in your hometown. If you start developing your own frameworks, your own proprietary process that's different, now you've got an advantage over everybody else, okay? So this is the process of going from growth to contribution. We go from the dreamer to the reporter, the framework creator, to the servant, to our expert and our guide. And so that's the framework about how to find your voice. You guys like that? Okay. All right. Now we're going to move to the next framework, which is my framework for teaching frameworks. You guys get that? Okay, I'm going to teach you my framework for how to teach frameworks. This is one that I'm really excited about sharing with you guys. This is one that took me a long time to figure out how to do this, and it wasn't something that was like somebody taught me. It was like tons of time like this on stages where like I have an idea, I have something big I want to share with people, and I try to share it, and like it hits and it kind of falls dead. And I'm like, that didn't work, right? And so doing this for a long time, this is kind of the framework I developed, and so I'm excited to share it with you guys. Okay, first thing to understand, I learned this from Brendan Bouchard, who spoke at last year's Funnel Hacking Live. In fact, I was at an event with him. It was a small mastermind group, and we're all sitting there, and the person hosting it was like, "Hey, Brendan, do you want to show everybody your 7-day launch funnel?" Which you guys, how many of you guys watched that last year, Funnel Hacking Live? It was amazing, right? And he's like, "Oh, sure, give me like 10 seconds, I'll be ready." He jumps up, gets the whiteboard, he's like, "Okay," and he draws like 4 or 5 squares and circles, angles. He's like, "Okay, boom." He's like, "This is my framework for the 7-day launch funnel." And he said something, and then he started teaching. He's like, okay, first step of the framework, he's taught that. Second step, and then people ask him questions, and he get derailed, and he come back and keep going. And someone else asks him a question, gets derailed, and someone said, "I'm so sorry I keep asking you questions." He said, "No, don't worry about it." He said, "You have to understand, the framework is your savior. It's the thing that saves you as you drift off in your teaching. It's like, where do I go from here? Oh, back to the framework." Right? The framework keeps you in line and makes sure that what you're saying follows a process that other people can follow as well. Okay? So it's important to have these frameworks as you're teaching, as you're sharing, as you're giving, because everything you're doing from the ads to the videos are all following a framework. Okay? All right, so the first phase in the framework. Okay, the first phase when you're telling a framework is you have to explain the story about how you learned or you earned that thing. And yes, that's a picture of me with a black eye. This is Nate Plone. He's the guy that made a potato gun DVD with me. We were wrestling in practice one day, and I took a shot, and I shot with my head down, which is not good, and I was punished. My eye hit his knee, swole my eye shut for a week, about 100 stitches there, and it was a really cool thing. So I just wanted to put that picture there because it's amazing. So, so the first step when we're teaching a framework is you have to tell a story about how you learned or you earned it. Okay? I learned this the hard way. A lot of times when I was learning this, when I was first kind of developing these ideas, I would come and I would spend insane amounts of hours and time in my life, like testing out a concept and figuring it out and like figuring out how a funnel works. And I come to an event like this, I'm so excited to share it. I'm like, hey guys, this is how it works. I share how it works. And everyone's sitting there like, okay. I'm like, what? Like, do you not get it? Like, let me explain again. I show the process. Like, yeah, no, we heard the process. Like, that's good. Thank you. I'm like, no, like, do you understand, like, what I had to go through to get this? And they're like, no, I don't understand. And I felt like if you guys read the New Testament, when Christ talks about not throwing your pearls before swine, like, I felt like that. I was like, I spent so much time learning and figuring out this thing, and I gave it to you, and you're like, oh, cool. Like, do you not understand what I went through to learn that or to earn it? And so I remember at one event in particular, I was sharing something 3 or 4 times. I got so mad, so frustrated that nobody was getting what I was trying to share with them. I said, look, let me explain to you exactly what I had to go through to get this. And I said, I went this, and I told this whole horrible story about the time and the effort and the stress and how much money I put into it to learn this thing. And I said, oh, do you guys get that? And then I went and I shared the thing again, and people were like, oh my gosh, that was amazing. I was like, interesting. I taught the exact same thing. The only difference is that here I put them through a pre-frame where I explained how I learned or I earned it. The story provided value to the framework. If I just give you a framework, like, oh, thanks. Like, if I just hand you the perfect webinar, this is the perfect webinar framework. You should go do a webinar on this. You're like, okay, thanks. But if I talk to you about how I spent 10 years on stages like this, okay, doing pitches where nobody ran the back of the room, I got embarrassed time after time after time, going on the road, spending my own money, spending my own way, and sitting in the back room watching speaker after speaker, taking notes on what they did and how they did it, how they spoke, where they moved, what they did, and I studied that, spent 10 years of my life, and based on that, I built a framework that anybody can follow. All of a sudden, you're like, oh my gosh, like I need that framework. Okay, if the first step in teaching any framework is you have to tell the story about how you learned or you earned it. If not, the audience will not value it. That's number one, okay? So without the story, nobody will buy into the strategy. Okay, so phase number 2 now, I'm going to move into the strategy, but without the story, nobody will care about the strategy. Okay, now phase number 2, this is where I teach the strategy. Okay? And people get confused sometimes between strategy and tactics. Strategy is like the overarching view. Like, if I'm in front of a whiteboard, I'm like, here's the step 1, 2, 3, like that's the strategy, right? Okay? And people have to understand the strategy, because if they don't understand the strategy, they're not going to pay attention when you get to the tactics. Okay? So if I was going to go to war, if I just come into a big, into my army, I'm like, hey, I need you guys to go over here, start killing people. You guys go over here, we're going to attack everyone. Like, I want you to go this way and this way. And they're like, why? I'm like, just do it like this, like, just trust me, go. And they're like, I don't think you know what you're talking about, right? Because I just gave them the tactics. Like, here's tactically we're going to do it. If I come and say, kids, this is the strategy, this is the game plan, let me explain it. I explain the whole game plan, they're like, oh my gosh, that is brilliant. Now, anything I tell them, tactically, they're going to do because they understand where they're going. Does that make sense? Okay, so after I tell them how I learned or I earned it, then I transition out to the strategy. Here's exactly what you need to do, and I walk through the process. Okay, a lot of times my strategies are like, here's 5 steps. Here's my doodle. Here's the step-by-step process. They see from a high-level view, they see the strategy. Okay, now if they buy into the strategy, I think it's my next slide. Yeah, because without the strategy, no one's going to buy into the tactics. Okay, so I tell the story to provide value of the strategy. Then I tell the strategy, they buy into that. Now it's like, now I can get into the tactics. Okay, so if I go back one slide, if the strategy is what I would put on a whiteboard, then the tactics are what I would put in a Trello board. Okay? All right, here's all the steps. Step 1, step 2, step 3, step 4, step 5. Here's all the process. Here's all the things you got to do to get that step of the strategy done. Here's all the tactics. Okay? So I share the tactics next. Okay? That's all the to-dos, all the things, all the pieces they got to do to achieve that thing. Okay? And then the last phase, we share a case study. Because without a case study, they may believe that thing is possible for you, they're not going to believe it's possible for them. So in phase number 4, then we give social proof and we share the strategy. Okay? So here is the actual strategy, or excuse me, this is the case study of other people applying this framework. Okay? So let me go backwards to my slides because I want to show you guys the overarching one again. Oops, too far. Okay? So this is how I teach my frameworks. Okay? Again, number 1, I tell the story about how I learned or I earned it. Number 2, the strategy about what it is. Number 3, the tactics about how. And then number 4, the social proof examples. Okay, and that's how I teach all of my frameworks. Okay? All right, I got one other thing I want to share with you guys. Now I want to show you guys my framework for selling frameworks. Okay, it's very similar, but it's different. Okay, when I'm teaching a framework, I teach all those things. When I'm selling, it's different. When I'm selling, number 1, I still tell about how I learned or I earned it. Number 2, I still teach the strategy, but I don't teach the tactics, and I share the case studies. Okay, what somebody typically is buying from you is the tactical. It's here's the process, here's what it is. Okay, so if I'm selling something, I don't do number 3. I do number 1, 2, and number 4. Okay, so let me show you an example of this. So, how many of you guys have seen my Funnel Hacks presentation? It's the presentation that built ClickFunnels. If you haven't seen it yet, that's shocking to me because I did that webinar live over 100 times, and it's been on auto webinar for 4 years now, and it's sold $100 million plus of ClickFunnels. So if you haven't seen it yet, you should at least watch it because it's really good. I put a lot of effort into it. But if you look at this, like watch how my slides mimic this process, okay? So number one, I tell the story about how I learned or I earned secret number one, right? So I talk about Tony Robbins taught me how to, if you want to achieve success, you got to do this. And then I talk about the pioneers. I talk about Porter Stansberry. I tell the story about how I learned to earn this tactic, right? Then I switch over to the strategy. Okay, here's the strategy. Step number one. I'm going to share my framework for how I funnel hack. Step number one, you got to funnel hack someone successful. Step number two, you got to buy the product. Step number three, the success blueprint. Step number four, building ClickFunnels. Oh, and by the way, my product eventually actually step number four. But I still have a framework for success for them, right? Then I skip number three. Okay, because number three would be like, okay, let me show you a 50-step, 6-step tutorial about how to actually build your funnel in ClickFunnels. Let me show you, I skip that, and I go directly to the social proof. Here's Organifi. Here's what we do with their funnel. Boom. Okay, and that's how I taught that section of the framework. Then I move on to secret number two in my framework, okay? Same thing. I start right here with how I learned or I earned it. Back in the past, what we had to do, we'd have programmers and designers and analytics people, and it was super hard. I had the tech guy and the this and the this and this, but then we figured out a new way, a better way. Let me show you the strategy. Then I do my demo of ClickFunnels, and the demo of ClickFunnels shows the strategy. Step one, I pick a template. Step two, I pick the funnel type. Step three, I walk through the framework for how I build a funnel inside of ClickFunnels, right? Then from there, I skip number three, and then I go into number four, which is here's the case study. Boom, 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 whole bunch of case studies. Okay? All right, same thing now. Secret number three, same thing. Okay? Number one, I tell how I learned or I earned it. Okay? Google slapped me again. Here's the framework. Step number one, I figure out where other people get the traffic from. Step number two, I go to SimilarWeb. Step number three, I look at this. Step number four, I go boom, 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 boom. And I go through the whole framework of how I get traffic, and then from there I end with a case study of how it actually happened. Okay? Do you see how that works? So when I'm selling through a framework, I teach number one, how we learned it, we earned it. Number two, I teach a strategy. Then number three, I show the social proof. Did that give any of you guys any ahas? Okay. I'm dropping some things now. Throughout this week, I'm going to be sharing other frameworks. We're going to talk about the story selling framework tonight after dinner, which is going to be going deeper into like the story parts of stuff and how we craft the stories and we orchestrate them, all those kind of things. It's going to be really cool. But what I wanted to kind of close this down with is this week, you guys, I want you to understand that I'm going to be showing you guys a lot of frameworks. In fact, some of my presentations are like 10 minutes long. When I come down, I'm like, okay, I got to show you guys a quick framework. I'm going to go for 10 minutes on a framework, and I'm bouncing back out again, and the next speaker will be out. Okay, every one of our speakers is going to be showing their framework for success. Okay, I want you guys to see the framework, understand it, start mastering these frameworks as you're doing that, okay? So master the frameworks you're going to be giving during Funnel Hacking Live. And then number two is as you're thinking through it, start designing, what are the frameworks for your business? Okay, come back to this. Like, what is the result that my dream customer is paying me for? I don't care what business you're in, they're all paying you for a result. That's the only reason why people buy stuff. They want a result. What is the result? And start thinking, what's my framework? What could it be? I got to figure out a name for it. I got to figure out, like, what am I going to title? What's step one, step two, step three? What's my hypothesis? I got to create, like, this is what I think is right. And then I got to go back home. I got to be a human guinea pig and test it on myself, see if I can get it to work for me. And if it does work for me, then I got to go and find other people, make sure it works for them. And when I have this framework, oh my gosh, this becomes my ads and my opt-ins and my thing, and I can sell all sorts of things around that. Okay? But that's what I really want you guys to understand. Is this lens of frameworks we're going to be doing so many things throughout this weekend about it. I want you guys understanding that and getting excited about developing your own frameworks. And hopefully you start looking backwards in time about like, oh my gosh, here's all the different frameworks that I've seen Russell use on me. I doodled 4 of them. You guys were able to pick out the name of them just by seeing my doodles. Like that's the power of what we're doing. Creating things that your customers remember over and over and over again. Okay, any of you guys right now who've gone through the Perfect Webinar Framework training, if you get on a webinar, you're stuck like, what do I do? What do I do? You look at the doodle, you're like, oh, I know exactly what to do. Right? It gives you the ability to serve your customers at a higher level than you could by any other way when you start creating your own frameworks. Okay? And so that's what I got for this intro session, you guys. I'm excited for the next 4 days. I'm going to be on stage, I think, 3 more times today. We got a lot more to cover, a lot more things to do. With that said, I'm going to bring Devon back out to set up the next speaker. Thank you guys so much.
You've been listening to one of our Gold Members Only podcasts. Make sure you upgrade and become a Diamond member and get access to the Diamond Members Only podcast as well. On top of that, you'll also get access to the whole enchilada with all of Dan's courses and so much more. So make sure you upgrade to Diamond now by going to diamondupgrade.com. You are listening to the Magnetic Marketing Secret Gold Members Only podcast.
All right, welcome back. It is Darren and Dan. We're back to the folks online. This is session 4. And for those of you in the room, this is the home stretch with Dan. And then we're going to go to dinner, and we'll be back with Rich Sheffrin after dinner. Remember, dinner we'll have here again. That will be sponsored by our friend Partiv and the team at eLaunchers. So make sure that you grab your dinner after this and eat in here, and Partiv will be back with a little presentation.
They are showing the sales letter that saved the world, sort of.
Well, at least the eLauncher world.
It's important to see it, yeah.
Yeah. So, Dan, why don't we talk about probably one of the biggest marketing sins there is, which is aiming your marketing weaponry at the wrong targets.
So, the vast majority of marketers, advertisers, mailers even, don't really have any target. They are still really playing throw mud against the wall, and hopefully some percentage of it sticks. And big marketers, it's the advantage you have if you are a small business or you grow a big business that is a collection of small businesses and small teams. You have a big advantage over the really big houses in every industry because their very size mandates slop. It can't be helped because what is significant, small, is not significant enough for them to worry about on a grand and big scale. So they, for the most part, they won't, and in many cases, they can't target or target effectively. They won't because the math doesn't make sense to them. And in some cases, they can't because they wind up building out a system that is about throw mud against the wall and harvest the 1% of it that sticks. And I've had it with several clients who have grown with me from small to big. Really having to face this is, guys, we're leaving a lot of money on the table here by not doing these 16 things. Yeah, but we're doing $100 million a year. And those 16 things represent 10 million. We're not interested. You're right, but we're not interested. So that's what happens, even with smart ones. And of course, most big companies are big dumb companies. So there isn't even any smart there to start with. So when you can and will target, it's an area where David can have an advantage over Goliath. And therefore, if you're a David, you better figure it out. Because otherwise, if there's any money in what you do, and it can be Amazoned, it will be Amazoned. And that's like now 2/3 of the marketplace. The number of things that Amazon figures out how to do grows exponentially by the day. So, and of course you have in retail, you have Walmart and, et cetera. So you've got to figure out how to target if you're going to succeed as a David in a world of Goliaths, because it's one of the few places where you can have advantage, right? So Aspen Dental is going to run slop marketing. They've got 900 dentists and 1,200 locations, I think, or the other way around, to feed. They're adding new ones, buying new ones as we speak. They're Walmart. Right? And they're gonna run slop. Same TV commercial in every market, doesn't matter. if it's Boise, Idaho, or New York City, all their marketing is going to be national, and it's going to be big, broad aim. They're never going to be figuring out how to market cosmetic restoration to recently divorced veterans. That's not going to be a discussion ever at their corporate headquarters. But maybe it should be if you're a dentist and you're a veteran. So that's what, targeting is all about. There's an issue of susceptibility, right? So different people have higher or lower susceptibility to a particular product or service or business or offer at different times. So timing matters. Okay. Social or peer pressure matters. Still works, right? All the television sets were sold originally by giving one for 3 months to one family on every street. First of all, you ain't getting it out of the house that you put it in. So they're making their 72 payments as soon as the 3 months are up. TV ain't leaving. And the other neighbors are under enormous pressure. Why don't we have a TV? Mama's mad, kids are mad, everybody's mad. So they got to go get a TV, right? So you can create that, right? You create that kind of pressure. I have a campaign I did for a charity that is the 5 Houses campaign. So you're a donor. We mail the 5 houses around you. Thought you would like to know Darren's a great guy. He just bought a for the starving orphans we take care of, or the starving dogs we take, whatever it is. And we thought you would like to know you got a real hero in your neighborhood. And here's the thing he contributed to, and here's our whiz-bang brochure, and yada, 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 right? Never fails to get one. Because you're shaming the other 5 is what you're really doing, right? And so there's all sorts of susceptibility factors that matter that you may be able to figure out one way or another. In a lot of categories, seasonal timing matters, and you should adjust your amount of marketing by season. Opportunity industry, weight loss industry, January. Because people have been with friends and relatives they don't see all the time. And they have had to have the one who is doing better than everybody else rubbed in their face. And this has raised their level of frustration with where they are. For hearing aid business, 6 months after the death of the spouse. Now, that information's available. You don't have to acknowledge it in the sales letter. You don't have to say, here, we've sent you a little coffin, and we've done that for 3 important reasons, right? We know your spouse dropped dead 6 months ago, and et cetera, okay? You don't have to do that, and it would probably be unwise to do it. I'd love to see somebody try it, by the way, but it's still hard to do death jokes, you know? The Kennedy jokes are still too soon. But So you don't have to say it. You just have to show up at the right time with your regular sales letter. So we proved this with birthdays, for example, and so forth. So targeting goes hand in hand with variable susceptibility, right? And you ought not, well, the business is dying anyway, but you ought not direct mail or do every door direct mail for home security unless there's been a robbery in the neighborhood. Then you ought to be all over it. Because people tend to buy home security systems either after they've been robbed or somebody in their neighborhood has been robbed. Before that, it wasn't at the doorstep. It wasn't acute.
Yep.
It wasn't believable, right? You know, you can have 200,000 people a month streaming across the border. A person who lives in Indiana, you know, they're like, I got stuff to do, right? I mean, now, if their gas prices go to $6 and the gas is rationed and the pipeline's shut down, that's at their doorstep. Believe me, they're going to react. There could be 10,000 little refugees drowned in the Texas River, and they won't be as upset as if they can't get gas for their boat this weekend. Okay? And we're all that way, right? Understandably. So you got to think about this when you build a marketing plan. Again, who and what, and now we're talking about when. Timing's very hard, but it is not impossible. I had a client, you talk about birthdays. I don't know if Simpson talked to you about birthdays or not, but this stuff's available. So I had a client, he was a Halbert client. John Carlton would know them. They were in a skincare business, Scottsdale, Arizona. Called me, they knew me from Gary. And they sell a expensive $500 to $800 Boxoglop. That is your facelift at home. Non-surgical facelift at home. 3 days, you put the green glop on first, you put the blue glop on second. It's all same glop, by the way, food color. But anyway, so they use direct mail to get people on the phones with telesharks who sell them Boxoglop. And Gary had done the direct mail piece. And they came to me after Gary passed and said, can you beat his control? And I looked at it. I said, the likelihood of me beating a Halbert control, period, is not good. Okay? Most of the time, we don't know why. Somebody like John or I will look at it and think we should be able to beat that. But Halbert was like, you know, Michael Jordan to basketball. There's a little intangible that often happened that you couldn't analytically figure out. So I said, probably not. I said, but you're selling to 50 to 70-year-old women. That's your sweet spot. You've got a mailing piece, a sales letter, that works. You've got lists that work. I know how we can beat the results of the control. We'll take the lists that work and we'll divide them by birthday month. We will only send a letter in January to everybody on those lists who's having a birthday in January. And we'll only send a letter in February to everybody on those lists who's having a birthday in February. And we'll be able to afford to send it to them twice because the response will be higher, because at birthday, women look in the mirror more than they do any other time. The benchmark birthdays, we might be able to FedEx it. Because when the 0 clicks over, that's a bigger deal than when the 3 clicks over, right? And it worked. They were actually grumpy about paying my fee because I didn't write any copy. I'm going, well, you know. But so this is the susceptibility issue that you want to look for. How could I build a marketing plan around higher probability prospects? They may be the same prospects at different times, but how can I build a marketing plan around higher probability prospects?
Why don't we talk, Dan, a little bit about the geographic, demographic, some of the affinity and association type targeting that's necessary, and why do we want to look at geographics and demographics?
So it's amazing to me how lazy marketers are just about geography. You know, again, they'll be running the same campaign in Alabama that they're running in Massachusetts. Well, you ain't hitting either one. You know, we had the speaker, health speaker. I was always amazed he did well. He did great, good sales guy, Ted Broer. And Ted was on the big tour with us, selling a system of how to eat, coaching program, Fix Your Nutrition in a box. And Ted's speech was the 10 foods never to eat. And I never saw him bomb except we did Birmingham, Alabama, about 10,000 people. Ted should have sold 500 units. I think he did 20. He was like suicidal. I said, Ted, on your 10 foods never to eat list, you got moon pies and Dr. Pepper. We're in Birmingham, Alabama. That's one of the 3 meals every day. You can't tell them not to drink Dr. Pepper and not eat moon pies. Are you nuts? Have you been to a convenience store in this place? I mean, come on. We're in Alabama. You got to tweak that talk, right? And you got to think about that. I mean, so here, Cleveland, there's West Side and East Side, and never the twain shall meet. West Siders don't like East Siders. East Siders don't like West Siders. 90% of that public is not going to cross that line or want to go to a business. They have a different language. They have different cultural icons. They have all of it. The West Side is like its capital, because it has its own capital, is a town called Parma. In Parma, everybody wears white socks, and they all got a bunch of lawn ornaments, pink flamingos and shit in their lawn, and a very blue collar. And they have cultural icons like Goulardi from late night TV. The East Side thinks they're all, you know, hicks and Trump voters and deplorables. And, you know, so if you really want to get this right, your sales letter east of the line would be different than your sales letter west of the line. A lot of states, Virginia, where the other state where we have a home, it's 2 states, right? Northern Virginia is a suburb of Washington, D.C., right? I mean, it's like communist. I mean, and the other half of Virginia, like where Richmond is, right? They still got the Confederate flag and the Duke of Hazzard car, and they're doing Civil War reenactments in their backyards. I mean, these are 2 different places, right? So geography matters for national marketers. I have clients, we figured it out. We don't do well in urban. We do well suburban and rural. So you don't mail the Detroit zip codes, but you mail all the communities around Detroit. there's a few East Coast states that 3 of these clients of mine, we've just written them off, right? The response is terrible, and the customers you get are also terrible. So who needs that, right? So geography is important. And again, for the guerrilla guy, the small marketer, the entrepreneur in charge, we're able to do these things. And the big entities won't. I mean, I've told this story for years, but when we were mailing a lot to chiropractors for my own company, I had figured out, so first of all, I had figured out things, and I also had an instinct, because I'm selling to them a lot. I can tell you who we close in the room and who we don't close in the room, and there's some profound commonalities. Female doctors with hyphenated last names. No good. I think because they had to get the husband's approval to spend money. I don't know, but I can tell you empirically, if it was a hyphenated last name, we're not going to sell to them. So spending any money to get them in a room is a giant waste of time. So, I mean, I'm going through the list myself, crossing out names. And other names, I would instinctively say to myself, I ain't got to sell that guy. I've never seen a name like that in an order form in 3 years. I'm not going to see one now. Out, right? And the small player can do that, right? We're mailing 3,000, 4,000 names at a time. You can sit there during a night of TV and, you can do it. The big player's not going to do that. So geography matters, demographics matter, which are statistical information about groups of people. Age, married, single, got kids, don't have kids, got pets, don't have pets, income, net worth, et cetera. That stuff matters. Psychographics really matter. So psychographics are, how do they behave? What have they bought before? Because a buyer is a buyer is a buyer is a buyer. If they buy in a category, they tend to buy more than one thing in the same category until they stop buying in that category altogether. So how they think and how they behave. Well, some of that's not readily available, but some of it is readily available by the credit card they carry, purchases they made, things they subscribe to, places they go, right? And like American Express will rent you lists based on category of purchase. So, and they'll rent to direct competitors. So they're aggregating everybody's data and reselling it. So if you open a high-end steakhouse in Independence, Ohio, and you want the list of all the customers of all the other high-end steakhouses in Independence, Ohio, you can't get that. But you can get a list of all the American Express card holders who patronize high-end steakhouses in Independence, Ohio. Well, close enough, right? So, and we know they patronize high-end steakhouses. So this information can help you message match. It can help you media match. So if they bought something by having a DVD sent to them and you want to sell it to them, failing any evidence to the contrary, you ought to send them a DVD. If a salesperson has to go to their house, you ought to get some salespeople together and go to houses, right? Until you test and test and test and try to figure out something better. So data So privacy died 30 years ago. In reality, it started its slow death, right? The mailing list world, your privacy was violated badly. Now we've reached the point where, like, everybody's violating your privacy. It's like, and everybody's using the data and selling the data and, on and on and on.
We last week searched for a show on our device on the TV, the Apple TV, and literally within an instant it was on the other device, advertising to you to watch that show on Netflix.
Yeah. They know more about you than your spouse does. And that's what you want to aspire to. Okay? I mean, you want a lot of information about your own customers and your own prospects, which mostly you can get by asking, because people will tell you the most amazing things if they're just asked. And they are increasingly conditioned to do it. You got to be of a certain age to remember this, but if you have an old Social Security card, it says it on it. Not to be used for identification purposes. It was illegal. You were only supposed to use your Social Security number with the Social Security Administration. That's it. Now, if you want to buy a collar for your dog, they're asking for your Social Security number, and people are giving it to them. Okay? I remember having this fight, opening a bank account, refusing to give them a Social Security number because it was still illegal. And I got a bank account open without one in 1972, maybe, 73. But now, you don't think anything of it anymore. You give that Social Security number to everybody. I'm amazed Uber's not asking for it. And so privacy now, there used to be this thing up until about a month ago called HIPAA, which made your medical records private. Where'd that go? Gone with the wind. Gone with the wind. And everybody will wear a mood ring to let you know whether they've been vaccinated or not, and they won't think anything of it. And the New York Mets now has a database of fans who've been vaccinated and fans who haven't been vaccinated. It's incredible. So privacy's gone, and you want to take advantage of it. Everything from public records. If you haven't read it, I recommend it a lot. You should read the book, The Purpose-Driven Church, by Pastor Rick Warren. Not The Purpose-Driven Life, his bestseller. The Purpose-Driven Church is a marketing book for church business owners, for pastors. And most instructive in it, and most shocking to people, is a chapter that should be titled Predatory Marketing. But that has a bad name. So it's not titled that. But it is all about susceptibility and timing. So there are situations in people's lives that make them much more susceptible to come to church than at other times. So if you got a decent sales letter for why you should come to church, then it's the same as the birthday example I gave you. You use public records in your area, and you get the names and addresses of those people who have hit high susceptibility, and you mail them. So like domestic violence calls to cops, high susceptibility, you mail them. Death in the family, you mail them. So there's a susceptibility list. And again, you don't say, by the way, we've all tried this a number of times. So, you don't say, hi, as you can see, there's a dollar bill attached to this letter. 3 reasons for that. One is we know your kid got arrested last week. And, you don't message it that way. you have a winning message and you show up at a high susceptibility time. And that is a form of target marketing that Goliaths won't do. Guthrie-Ranker is perfectly capable of doing this, for example, with the birthdays for Cindy Crawford Skincare. And they won't do it because they're a billion-dollar company. They want to throw mud against the wall, and they have figured out how to make money doing that. More power to them. Right? So they won't do it. But the skin salon in Bedford Falls, Pennsylvania, should damn sure do it and can do it.
Dan, why don't we talk about what is a buy now customer and how and why is it important to identify these prospects for your business? You know, you often talk about giving people a fast pass as an example.
Well, so yeah, there's two things about. So the buy now customer is a customer that's almost there already, right? They are, they're ready to go this weekend and look at mattresses. And they are able and willing to buy right now. Now, most businesses only compete for them, which is really dumb. So again, if you'll be smarter. So most businesses really only compete for buy now, right? Nobody says, for example, if you're not ready to buy a mattress, that's okay, but at least let us send you our free consumer's guide to mattress shopping and our free guide to 17 ways to get a better night's sleep. Right? Little box down at the bottom of the ad screaming about twin prices, and nobody does it. So they only get the buy now customer because nobody invites the not yet ready to buy but will be person into the fold. There's a lot more not yet ready to buy but will be people than there are ready to buy now people. So if you could get control of them earlier, right, you would win that dance. However, the flip side is you don't want to block a buy now customer with a overly complicated sales process or by forcing everybody through the same funnel and process, when often maybe your best won't do it. So like I tell the financial advisors all the time, he understands this very well. So typical financial advisor in a local market is driving everybody to the free evening with the free chicken at the country club. The deal is you got to listen to me talk to you about Roth IRAs and I give you chicken. That's the deal. And enough people say, well, you know, okay. And they go for the chicken. And the financial advisors hate them. And that's it. That's the only door they've got open. So their whole horizontal bar, newspaper ad, radio ad, bought and paid for radio show, free lectures at community colleges, direct mail, Facebook, the whole horizontal bar feeds into a funnel that then says, here's the way you can engage with me. You got to come to an evening at the Holiday Inn, and you've got to sit in a room with other people, and you got to listen to me talk about Roth IRAs, and you get free chicken. So who's not going to that meeting no matter what?
The best prospect.
Me. I'm not going. Right? Period. End of story. Right? And I don't care how you dress it up. So you can have Joe Theismann there signing footballs. You can, it don't matter. I'm not going. But I'm the ideal client for most financial advisors. Buy and hold. Mostly I only want you not to lose it. I don't really ask you to make any money with it. I don't bother you. I don't call you when the market crashes. I don't buy Bitcoin. I'm like perfect, right? But almost every financial advisor precludes me. Now, they'll tell you if we do one-on-one appointments with people, we waste a lot of time with unqualified prospects. So we won't offer one-on-one appointments. Well, that's stupid. That's like, Zig's story of the cat that stepped on the hot burner, and now not only won't he get up on the stove, he won't stop it, he won't go in the kitchen. Figure out a way to only do private appointments for qualified prospects. So I have a client that sells, for example, a really high-priced investment coaching program to doctors. And the model is you jump through hoops and you get triaged by a teleshark, and finally you're allowed to come and eavesdrop on one of the mastermind meetings that is part of this program. The average guy coming probably has 5 to 10 million to deploy, but all the way down to $1 million. Guess who's not coming? The guy that's got 50 million to deploy. He's not coming. Some of the guys that's got 20 million to deploy are not coming. They want to jump the line. Right? I get it. Just let me send you a check and buy me an apartment. Let's get this done, right? So if you don't have an express lane that those people can go into, and it's okay to then make them qualify, but if you don't have an express lane that those people can go into, you leave a lot of money on the floor from your marketing, and sometimes you screen out great customers, clients, or patients, right? So you got to think about this in both directions. You want to accommodate the buy now person, the express lane person, right? We used to have I fixed this at the big success events. First year, I'm over there early, first thing in the morning. Why the hell was I there first thing in the morning? I know, because UPS said they lost all my product, and it wasn't going to be there. So I'm over there fighting the battle with does the arena have it, and they don't know that have it. Does UPS have it? So I'm there first thing in the morning. So I'm there as people are coming in and taking their seats. And a guy walks over to the product area where all the audio cassette programs and books and stuff are sold. And he says, gets somebody over, and he says, I can't stay for the whole day. I want to just buy everything that is going to be sold and be done with it here. And he's got a Gold American Express card. And I watched the sales prevention department, come to life and send him away. Now, I don't really care about the rest of it, except I was in there, So, I chased him myself. So I can't fix that stupidity, but I can sell you my thing because I got a separate order for him. You want to do that? Yeah, great, fine, fill out. So I talked to the owner afterwards, and I said, if there's one, there's 100. So why would you, A, turn them away? Let's at least prep people with the right answer to that question, which is, you bet. Cha-ching, here you go. Right? Thank you very much. Not, no, we can't do that, and here's why we can't do that. Better yet, let's find a way to invite it. Little insert in the souvenir program. Yep. If you need to leave early, you can come back and we'll be happy to explain to you the resources that are going to be offered for the rest of the day. Guess what? Because there's buyers who do buy everything. That's what they do, right? We were exhibiting at, Carla and I were exhibiting at the National Speakers Association. And Dr. Peter Fernandez walks up and he says, I'm going to go walk the exhibit hall. I want one of everything you produce. Here's my credit card. I'll pick it up on my way out. Now, we know the right answer to that, which is fine. Right? Boom. Guy turned out to be a great client and so forth. So you got to have the express lane. There are people who will not go through your process, and that doesn't necessarily make them a bad customer, client, or patient. On the other hand, you need a marketing plan that does not only sell to buy nows, because you want your pipeline full. You want to get there early if you can.
Yeah. So Dan, one of the things that you frequently prod people to do is to use offline media to get them online and then get them back offline. This is a piece that you had done for one of your clients. Maybe I can hold it up and the folks could zoom in on it a little bit. You want to talk a little bit about what this piece is?
Sure.
And, you know, here's the lead generation postcard, I believe.
So that postcard fed, it's a two-sided postcard, self-mails. It's an opportunity postcard, and it is personalized with pearls, if you remember pearls. I know technology changes, but I'm not going to read the whole thing, but I'll just read the top third of the real estate, which is important. So it's new website for Dan Kennedy. It would be for Darren Spindler, for Harry Schwartz. www.freebonus.com/Dan Kennedy. So it's the recipient's name. Visit your new website above, and you'll see a copy of an $8,400 check that's made payable to you. Plus, you'll receive the key to getting real checks like this in your mailbox time and time and time again. Here are the details of my amazing 2 steps to cash now plan. And then there's a sales letter, but it's all really about going in to the website and getting your information there. Of course, everybody's website's the same, only the landing page is different to match the offer. And then they see a online video sales letter. That might have just been a video-assisted sales letter. So you read for a while, and then there was a video, and you read for a while, and then there was a video. Now, and this is a self-mailer, same category, opportunity offer, but it doesn't matter. So it self-mails. This is the self-mail side. This is the cover. It is all about big money and big chunks. And it drives you to your personalized website to get the details. So these and their cousins, all for the same entity, drove traffic for 7 years and some months unchanged. So this is set it and forget it. This is, we've got a sales letter that works, we got lists that work, and we got the online sales presentation that works. We're mailing to lists of people who will go online. We know that by their other behavior, by how they do their regular businesses. And we can rotate through the high response lists with the two-sided postcard, with the self-mailer. There's another self-mailer with a different personality in it. There's another postcard. So we could mail into responsive lists a lot. The online video lived nearly evergreen, certainly in internet years. 7 years is like 3 lifetimes, without a change, and was very productive. It was not, by the way, with traffic driven to it from online sources. Okay. So there's an important magic to this. The list is probably half the game. So we have to be mailing to the right prospects. Then the message has to be great. Okay? And then they will go online to now find out the rest of the story. Online gives us the virtue of unlimited real estate. We have as much time and space as we can command attention for. So we can do an infomercial length presentation. We can do 30 minutes. We can do 45 minutes. We can do, I think it was, we added on, I think the last 3 years or so, it was almost 2 hours. And as long as we were dynamic now with that, we bought ourselves with this nearly 2 hours to make a complete sales presentation to highly qualified prospects. Make the sale, and then, as you said, get them back offline for the upsells, for the game is afoot after the initial transaction, which in this case, give or take, we were making $47, $97, and $197 sales at a cost of about $300, and then monetizing with the upsells all the way into coaching programs of multi-thousands of dollars, all autopilot, right? But the key is the mail connected to the presentation online. So all that is mail to qualified lists that would, in the old days, have been putting people in rooms at Holiday Inns for preview speakers to do 3 hours to. Instead, we're putting them in front of their computer and doing 2 hours to them. Now, it's not as effective, by the way, but it doesn't have to be because we're not spending money in Holiday Inns. And we're not paying preview speakers, right? They're hitting a button and there's a thing running. So I like this system a lot. We use it with clients today. Everything from illustrated sales letter to hybrid video, chalk talk, webinar kind of presentation, and out the back end into a offline sales process. It's something. So the thing about direct mail is that with any particular audience, there is a limit to what it can do affordably. So like the guys with the $800 glop, they tried 6, 7, 8 campaigns that Halbert did, and I did too for them to try, of directly making the sale without driving them into the room to talk to the telephone people. We couldn't make it work. We just couldn't get Martha to part with $800 for a non-surgical facelift in a box with a sales letter, enough for the math to work. But we could get Martha to call to get her free sample and then get switched to buying an $800 box of glop by the salesperson. So in almost every situation, there's things sales letters can get to, and there's things sales letters can't get to. Like, I don't think it's possible in any kind of numbers to get people to enroll to go to High Point University from a sales letter. I haven't even suggested trying. I think in almost every case, they got to come to campus. Yep. So that marketing plan is all about getting a qualified person who meets the criteria of a highly likely buyer to come to campus. Sales letters can do that. So when you create a marketing plan, you have to think about, what can a sales letter do? What can a webinar be reasonably expected to do in my business? What can, whatever the marketing system is, be reasonably expected to do? And then you got to use it as effectively as you can to do that.
Dan, so one of the things that folks don't think about when they go to build a plan like this is oftentimes, they're thinking present bank rather than future bank. Why don't we talk about the importance of having a marketing plan to build future equity in your business?
So it almost comes back to data as part of the answer. If you ask most business owners, how'd you do this week? They're all going to give you present bank numbers. So the sit-down restaurant owner is either going to tell you the number of tables he turned, the number of meals he sold, or the number of customers he had. That's what he's going to tell you. The hair salon place is going to tell you how many heads they cut. That's what they're going to tell you. Car dealer is going to tell you how many cars he sold. Okay. There's not even any thought, really, of future bank, which would be, for example, did we sell those cars to people with big families or small families? Because the future bank is better if we sold the car to somebody with a big family. So generally speaking, I'd rather sell a car to an Italian or a Hispanic than really anybody else. Because the families are bigger, they're closer knit, they still gather every Sunday for the big family dinner with 50 people in the household and the kids at the little table. And there's more future bank money there, right? So, but neither the dealer or the salesperson has given this any thought, let alone tried to count it, right? We got to sell 26 cars this weekend. A sale is a sale is a sale is a sale, which is not true. So, pretty much any business. Charlie Tremendous Jones, some of you are old enough to know Charlie. A great motivational speaker, good platform salespeople, person. Charlie's answer always was, first time it was funny, fifth time it's not so funny, but so Charlie and I were speaking at the same place, didn't know each other real well. Charlie had been on before me, but I hadn't been in the room. And I caught him in the hall, and I said, how'd you do? He said, I sold enough to get home. Well, that's present bank, right? Future bank is what have you deposited but not collected yet. And that's really where your equity is in most businesses. So the restaurant owner should, how'd you do this week? Here's how many tables we turned. Here's what our revenue was. And here's how many contact cards, name, address, phone number, email, and birthday month that we collected. Because that's the future bank deposit. Because everybody with a birthday goes out to eat. They usually take somebody with them. If you know when the birthday is, you can feed your marketing plan with that, et cetera. The car dealer, the example I just gave you, right? Who do we sell cars to? And how many people they got in their family who live in the area? Well, we don't know. Well, because you didn't ask. They'd tell you. People will tell you the most amazing things, right? So the future bank is about, so I always told most of the speaking I did and sold from the platform, I would have let the host keep all the money. Nobody ever asked for 100%. I didn't offer, but I would have given it to them because I wanted the equity was in the customer. The equity was not, in the, who's in here that I got in an audience? Your first entry point was you bought somewhere something at the back of the room. Okay, I can't see you.
It's probably about
Help me.
25% if I were going to.
Well, pick somebody.
Oh, pick somebody? Put the hands up again.
And you.
In the white. Right here.
Okay. Who are you?
I'm Ken Vinton.
God. So Ken's a perfect example. Okay. So how long since that purchase has it been?
More than a decade.
Oh, yeah, it's probably 15 years. How much you think you've spent not counting the initial purchase? All in. 50 or more. Seminars, products, 50 grand. What do I care about half of $278? I'd rather have it than not have it, but, the equity is in the 50 grand in the 15 years. Well, most businesses work that way, right? That's where it is. So your marketing plan has to take into consideration, first of all, who am I getting? Because I want to get somebody who at least 10 or 20 or 30% of them can be Ken Vintons. Okay? They fit a criteria that says, if I get them, I can keep them. They will hang around, and they will spend again and again and again. And what am I going to do when I do get them the first time to make sure that that happens? So what's my marketing plan from first transaction on? Again, most businesses don't have one. And they don't even like really to think about it because they want to spend all their time, energy, effort, and money on getting the next new customer, not developing the customer they already got, which is just brain dead stupid, right? So interesting thing about MLM, Amway, Shackley, Herbalife, etc. There's the business people think it is, and the business it really is. It's a very convoluted business model for the company to wind up with customers for life. It is not about everybody building businesses and all that. That's the pain and suffering they go through. For the company to wind up with customers for life. Because what happens is a lot of distributors who go inactive have 3 or 4 or 5 products they really like, and they continue to buy them for the rest of their lives. They're not active in the business anymore. Their upline is gone. Nobody even knows who the hell was third up in the chart on the whiteboard. The company's keeping all the money right now because they're not paying out any overrides. That's what the whole business is built for. So they understand. Present bank, future bank. Their future bank is in their version of a Ken Vinton. Okay? I was in Amway as a kid. I've been in Amway since 1974. I eat Nutrilite every day. Still buying my Nutrilite. Right? That's a long-ass time. Right? That's their version of future bank. So you want to give serious thought to this because the present bank income has a nasty habit of getting spent. Income disappears. That's what it does. People expand their lifestyle to match their income. They're on their 5th divorce. They get a cocaine habit. Whatever they do, income gets spent. The only stuff that sticks is what a business owner skims off his income and puts somewhere else, or the equity he creates in his business that is going to produce future bank dollars year after year after year, or on some kind of a predictable cycle. So to run a business without a plan for that, you're never really going to have any serious equity taking care of you from your business.
Dan, so we have about 10 minutes left. So what I think we should do is, you want to talk about the Rory Fett, the whole plan, how he put it together, what it means?
Well,
I mean, maybe
so
not
the
whole plan, but
yeah. So the marketing plan for an event in my world So the marketing plan is relevant because everybody should have events, right? So you're going to have the sale of the century if you run a mattress store. You're going to have Christmas holiday, the 2 weeks, and the VIP customer night, and all. So everybody has events. So all of our event campaigns are multimedia marketing, a lot of mail, list segmentation. There will be a generic stuff everybody gets, and then there'll be specialized stuff, which I described before. So this is from the year we did the circus theme. Yep. And so this self-mails here. Here is a replica of an old circus poster with freaks and geeks on it. And it is. It's a freaks and geeks.
Geeks, and midgets.
Freaks, geeks, and living wonders from all parts of the earth. The Olympia Sideshow. And it unfolds to what we call the world's largest super conference brochure. Like this. And it's all about the speakers, and it's all gimmicked. It's all circus gimmicked. Who's in the main tent? Who's in the third ring? In the second ring on your left? In the center ring? He's the ringmaster. She's the fabulous this. And it's all circus gimmicked all the way through, all the way to, this was held in Phoenix in a giant circus tent. And I think it's the one when Dave, I think it's the one
where they shot him out of the cannon?
I think this is the one where Dave D and I shot him out of the cannon. Which seemed like a better idea when you wrote the copy. Than, you know.
Rory probably thought so, too.
So this mailed to everybody, right? Then the follow-up sequence, a lot of it, you asked about postcards earlier, were all postcards. And we simply ripped off old circus posters for one side of them, cut that thing up to write copy about one attraction per postcard. So this was about Joe Vitale, how to promote your restaurant like P.T. Barnum. That's in there. This was about, what was this about? More amazing than Jupiter the balloon horse. What the hell was this? I can't read it all, but it was about one of the speakers and what he was doing. This was about an approaching deadline. Dire and urgent warning required by law. And it was about an approaching deadline. And what's this one? Wouldn't you like to be the 3,000-pound gorilla in your market? And it's a picture of a gorilla in a cage at the circus. Okay. Now, so these are all derivative of this. This is just recycle, 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 recycle. And this is another generic piece. This was a booklet. Did not self-mail, mailed in an envelope. It's called, Is It Still Too Late to Run Away and Join the Circus? And it basically is about why their business sucks and why they hate it, which would make them want to run away and go to the circus, and how to fix it, which they get everything they need to fix it by coming to the conference, okay? There were a lot more steps than this, but that was the main generic campaign. Now again, the pizza guys all got another track of stuff that nobody else saw. And the steakhouse guys all got a track that nobody else saw. Multi-unit versus single-unit operators got different stuff on a track, all their own, overlapping the generic track and falling in between it. So everybody would get generic piece number one. Then the pizza guy might get pizza piece number one. The steakhouse guy gets steakhouse piece number one. Then everybody would get generic piece number two. Then they would get their individual separate pieces, depending on who they were.
And the asset belt is this campaign, and every year the theme can change.
The theme changes, but the structure does not. So once you built the architecture, the marketing plan, if you will, that never changed. That's rinse and repeat. The only thing that changes is when you get new media, you can add to it. Oh, now we can drive them to go watch a YouTube video. Yep. Okay, fine, we'll drive them to go watch a YouTube video. But the marketing plan architecture, once you build it out, it can run for years and years and years. And you jack it up and put new innards in it, and you put a new wrapper around the outside. So the same thing is true for any business's event, right? If a dentist does live Invisalign seminars in his office for parents, or he does live implant seminars, 20 people at a time in his office, the architecture of that marketing plan never needs to change. If you get it to the point that it works, you leave it alone. A lot of its content won't have to change because it's mostly going to new prospects every time, right? So you won't even have to change. I mean, the implant seminar main sales letter that a number of dentists used that I did for the group It hasn't changed in a decade. If you did something that was like time sensitive in it, you mentioned what a great smile O.J. Simpson has. You got to go back and take that out. And, well, it happens, right? I mean, who would think you'd get in trouble with Bill Cosby? Oh, cripe. And you got to go fix that.
Yeah.
But for the most part, you are building and trying to build assets, right, that either occasionally, by season, by timing, by whatever, get reused, or in rotation get reused. What you don't want to do, again, is blank slate stuff. You don't want to, oh boy, we need more customers, so let's sit down and come up with a promotion and a campaign. That's slower than mud, and it's a lot more work than is necessary.
So Dan, we're going to close with that. I want to thank you for what a great day. And folks, what a great day. How about a standing round of ovation for,
thank you.
For Dan.
You don't have to stand up.
So
thank you all.
You've been listening to one of our Gold Members Only podcasts. Make sure you upgrade and become a Diamond member and get access to the Diamond Members Only podcast as well. On top of that, you'd also get access to the whole enchilada with all Dan's courses and so much more. So make sure you upgrade to Diamond now by going to diamondupgrade.com.